Sayanara. Amazing experience as well.
This is, I think, I've already said it several times, I think, but for me, this is the main thing I like about Sayonara is because, so to give a little bit of context, I think that a lot of the very young players that are brought to Tier 1 are usually duelists or very aggressive players, and Sayonara actually he is able to flex. He can fill any roles that you need him to fill, and this is super valuable for the team. And it's perfectly clear on this Avon map that we've seen here. Chronicle is a very good chamber. I think he wants to play it more because he thinks that it can bring a lot to the lineup. But before, he was kind of forced to play something. For example, on the Avon, he was playing the Viper because there weren't really a space for him to give that role away and be able to play the chamber. But here with Sayonara, it's possible. The guy is able to play anything that you want. So this is a great flexibility and offers them the opportunity to actually try a lot of different things. Really like it.
I actually do love that point. Sayanara not being that main duelist on the roster sure can flex on that situation or on that role. Usually when you bring a young player into your roster, like you kind of highlighted, it's going to be that duelist. I think them bringing Sayanara in here, not as a duelist, shows maturity from Sayanara. You have to be more mature, more maybe calm and collected, more calculated with these different agents. You cannot just go run in like maybe Sop does. I think Sop is great at his role, but I think in terms of playing a different kind of role for those youngsters, it's something that we don't see that often, and it's brilliant for Sayanara to be picking up different type of agents like that Viper and playing the initiator role here and there as well.
Yes, I really loved it from him, definitely. I think this is also showing, as you said, maturity, that you can fit into a team to make the team stronger and not only wanting to show that you are the best player, because this is very important. If you want to create a team that will perform, yes, you need very strong individualities, but in the end, you need to have players that will put the team first. And I think Sayonara, as we see right now, is this kind of player. He's actually happy to fit in the team and choose the role that will make overall the team stronger, even though he's not the star player. And we've seen, even with a Viper, it can be, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely take those kills, and it's really hard to be a star player when you have Derke on your team at one point. Yes. Undoubtedly the best player in the world. Sure, has kind of lost the title, but
it's been very strong in the kickoff, actually. It was top 3, so...
I mean, yeah,
he still has it.
He still is a really strong player, but probably not the best in the world right now, as he was back in the days. But yeah, I do love the point as well that Sayanara being able to fill there, maybe not being the star player of the team. Obviously, incredible player, can get the kills. But to me, I kind of want to take my eyes to Abyss already. We're going to be heading there in a second. Abyss, it's not a great map for ULF. They have only played one time there this year, and that was against Pacific Esports. It was a win. It was a decent win. To me, the Waylay Jet composition in that map can be hard to play with. Obviously, it's great for ULF. They have double initiator, you have Sova and Breach, but to me this composition is kind of one-dimensional. It heavily relies on you being able to dive on the side with the double dashers. Your Breach has to be on point, and against Vitality, who has already gotten experience against these type of comps, imagine at least from scrims, they know exactly how to play against them. They kind of flex on a different type of agents as well, bringing the Harbor in. It might be hard for ULF to adapt to this agent composition that Vitality has.
I guess they're gonna drop the Waylay. I think it may happen because this was with the previous roster. Okay, they're still gonna go with the Waylay, so they kept the same composition. Actually, I'm quite surprised because they changed a lot of their lineups on other maps with Echo and Sop. But here they chose to go and stick to this composition that, as you said, might not be the most meta one. On the side of Vitality, obviously we see the Arbor again. This is not very surprising because I think they want to test it to the fullest. So we'll see if it works once again ULF. Mic to our lovely caster, Volt and Morgan.
Thank you so much, KK and MP. I like that your names also have abbreviations because it makes it easier for us to get into the game and get into the action again. We've seen Haven and how it went and how Vitality was dominant in that past game, but I definitely think that it might be even harder for Team ULF on a map that isn't their choice, specifically Abyss. Specifically that they have one agent that my particular mate here really likes seeing, which is the Harbor back in Abyss. Volt, you've called for it. There you go. Vitality answered.
I'm really glad about it too, because it really flustered anything that Focus were trying to do in that game, and it stunts a lot of the play, especially when it's on the defense. Kron have just showed that the entirety of Vitality are willing to play to the strength of the Harbor, which is something that maybe we've seen from KC a couple of times. Of course, Engine Zeech being big proponents of the Indian, but I mean, the main thing for me is always like how high the wall goes up the stairs when you're actually walling down middle. Is that it unironically makes it impossible to trade from either the high or the low. So you can be a lot more aggressive on the side of Vitality. I'm thinking that they're going to be reliant on that. Last time around, though, the biggest importance was actually Jamppi and the kind of performance Jamppi had on the snipers. We've seen the snipers reign supreme once already, and most likely it will be make or break for the two teams here again.
Might be a little bit exciting to see the double duelists going in here from both compositions. Jamppi hopping back onto duelist and IGLing on a duelist role might be a little bit risky. But I trust Jamppi. I trust his shot calling. This is a player that we said does quite literally everything. He shoots, he calls, and off as usual with the crazy quick entries. Beautiful position coming in here from Jamppi again, not compromised by the quick entry by Echo. We didn't get to see him, but at least we got others trading in one kill, and Derke as usual shooting in from the smokes. Check his PC. This guy definitely knows exactly where to put his crosshair, specifically when hidden behind a smoke. Quick entry, but not a quick plan for Team ULF so far.
Oh, 3 players lining up, and it could have gone very wrong for Vitality. Thankfully, Jamppi again saving the day for the team. No more recons, no more util. Neki taking the perfect timing to engage off the one, and Jamppi not spotting the player who's moved up into that elevated position. Carries a significant amount of risk for Neki. He can catch the spike, but then with the 30 seconds on the timer, he might even have enough time to rotate all the way towards B if he wants to, which is why Jamppi cutting off that rotation from middle, making sure that if he is going to go somewhere, it has to be towards that A site. And Neki has made that choice himself. It's going to be an open plant if he's planting where he's standing. It leaves both positions open, and the arrow means there's going to be no util whatsoever for the Euro in the post.
Jamppi could be literally anywhere now. That Rift Walk. Hey, his position is so uncompromised that Neki has no idea. He could be CT, he could be outside A main. One place he could possibly never be is on ropes though. Same thing goes for Jamppi now. He could be anywhere, but at least CT is a little bit expected for Neki because that was the only position he could have possibly rotated to. Tries to fake the plant and the defuse, 4 kills for Jamppi. Beautifully orchestrated round between him and Neki, who also had a very good timing and knocked down Brovik when he had no idea that he was silently going up that rope, but with 10 HP and a dream. We see Jamppi with that Rift Walk again, making Neki just scratch his head. Where could he be? Where could he be?
You know, we said it. This guy's a one-man army. Starting off the round a little slow with the first shot, but after great combination play from Vitality, playing off the arrow Sayanara early on, and while the read was good from ULF to expand into spawn, I really like the fact that not only did they take some of those duels, just how calm Jamppi was start to finish. Now the Outlaw is already out in round 2. ULF again, not scared of taking A main, which usually, you know, a lot of teams will play Veto, would find a lot of success on that line of sight. This time, no Veto on either side, and ULF used all of the util on the waylay, which means now they scale on FUT, and that makes the shots a lot easier for Profik. Two is found, and nothing is gonna break their deadlock despite their utility not coming in initially. Kron makes it easy for Prophet, who lines up his own quad kill now as he follows the footsteps of the IGL. Vitality, with how many players survived of that round prior as well. Like, just the weapons that are left over, they look very dangerous into this round 3.
Impressive round, as usual. Well, the only thing that I'm scared for here is that ULF again have not been able to change their playstyle or perhaps to adapt to how good Vitality is good on their adaptations with ULF. You have to adapt to the adaptability of Vitality. Make that make sense. Adaptation, or whatever that word that I just came up with. Hopefully it makes sense. Lots and lots of information about ULF that they do not fake sites. So, you know, if you see that many smokes, somebody's gonna try to be making an entry, and that Wrecking Bolt came up way too late from Neki. So Derke's position wasn't compromised, and then you lost one of your 2 duelists for free. Now Fabian falls by the hands of Profik, and now you're forced to play around with 1 duelist, 1 initiator that does not have any flashes or info gathering to help you win that round.
The beauty of a shot from Salt, but as he said, this round feels like it's nearly impossible. Jamppi can most likely at least get another kill for the team that will make it a 2-on-4. And it's very smart from Jamppi not actually to overcommit into a round like this. Yes, the gate crash is there, but unlike a rendezvous, unlike a tailwind, it is not as instantaneous as a movement ability. And they elect to let the side go. So Vitality, by the courtesy of the leader, will play to their number. 2 stars, 2 shocks, nearly the entire pelt of the utility for Jamppi as well. And now they're all lining up. It's going to be a big retake from Spawn, most likely led by a flash from Jamppi.
Flash hops up. A little bit too early of a peek though from Derke. Doesn't really matter. They still have more info gathering in their pocket than Neki has, for example. But now he's left in a 1v2 position. Luckily enough though, he does have a Wrecking Bolt, and there was one more smoke placed for him by the Astra before she left life. Wrecking Bolt gets up the weapon, only to fall hands by the hands of Sayanara, who again does it. We've had 3 rounds now for Vitality. 4 kills from Jamppi, followed up by 4 kills from Profik, and now 3 more kills followed by Sayonara. Each and every member of this team is an entire army by himself.
And imagine we haven't even talked about Derke or Kron yet. Like, they can still step up when the time comes. Vitality are putting ULF through a maze. And while ULF usually known for its ferocity, I guess the wits is not there in comparison to the bees. Vitality definitely has the better of them, maybe not in the initial duels, but just the re-clears after that they've taken the first fight. Look at there, even Audas couldn't find that much after. And that's the great thing about Vitality. But it was all predicated on them finding the first blood. Something that they have been doing ever so successfully in that first half. If it ever goes wrong, then ULF actually starts with the kill of their own. Things can be very complicated. Thankfully, it should be easy for Jamppi, and indeed it is. First up for Vitality. And while they've left the site open, there are no real ultimates here because they get the spike on Fafi and not on Sop, which is a call that I'm kind of surprised about myself. They could have had the Blaze by now. And if anything, the kill from Neki is the soul-saving grace for the team, but the spike is too far off from the players at the window. And they're just grinding on them piece by piece. The domino crumble. It's the house of cards, as fickle as it is. Vitality, just with a gust of wind, able to clear another one.
Faro not looking too good right now for ULF. Fabian not been able to land a single kill so far. And with a composition that has 2 duelists, one of them is the Waylay as well, which has enough util to help herself get into sights and maybe get out of them if things get too bad. The second one being Fabian on the breach. So many flashes on this team, yet you're not able to utilize them yet. So, I think it's a util thing still. It's definitely not aim duels, because we've seen so many good Thrifty rounds being won here by Team ULF, specifically in Haven. And now in Abyss. It's about to be an open 1v1 because something happens to be peeking the very same angle. The Derke might be peeking, but that smoke fake shuts their operator down a little bit. Derke has been able to get a good spot. He now is sure that at least one of them passed. Unlucky enough to meet his operator now, and it has been Fabian. Again, 0 and 5. You now lost one of your 2 initiators. So how many flashes do you have left on the team? 0.
I mean, the good thing for Vitality on top of that, they got the information in middle. So they got everything pretty much lined up to guide ULF back into that B site. And as you can tell, while Jamppi might not be ready to take the duel on B just yet. He's already got a TP. The rotation from Sayanara. Oh, this could have come at the exact worst timing possible. Still a star present for Profik. Still got the Cosmic Divide, but it's all going to be a matter of time. He sneaks ahead through. He's going to alert the rest of the team. And while the TP is not there, he's still able to hold on pretty well. The Waylay, again, just being a sacrifice. And it is nothing found by ULF.
Too many smokes on that side, though. Not enough information on where any member of Vitality is except Profik, who's definitely in the backside. Not enough time to rotate, and I'm pretty sure, based on my information, Astra doesn't fly. So he could have been only in one position, and that was easy to locate. And now we have Neki without a Wrecking Bolt. Otter still has one more star coming up for him soon. Derke still with that operator, but a beautiful rotation from Chronicle knocks him down. And now Sayanara has enough time to re-peek Otters because he's already expecting people coming up from other angles, so that one was left for free for Showdown. And now Vitality is off to another massive start with a 5-0. ULF have not been able to utilize their crazy Thrifty rounds and their forces, because Vitality adapts to that just way better. And now I think we need a tag pause. Can we get a tag?
This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I love the brand of Valorant that we're watching here from Vitality. Just layers on layers. The players, even in their individual ability, just finding those small pockets, whether it was Jamppi or Derke on the extremities initially, and now we've seen even Profik is able to find those tiny little gaps, playing around an edge of a smoke, taking a peek of A main, even the little detail in Derke, taking the rope and then jumping back down, looking for a re-peek. They're trying to fish for those small duels that maybe is actually to their own strength with them playing the agents that they are, right? A lot of untrade abilities, at least that's what I like to call them, things like the Tailwind, things like the Gate Crash, that basically gives you a get-out-of-jail-free card. And that's what we're seeing here, like even Jamppi. See? Like, kill, leave. Didn't get greedy, which is the thing that we've seen from both KC and Na'Vi yesterday, that got them eliminated in comparison. Of course, Kron is the one that found the multi-kill. But that was a beautiful team effort. I really want to highlight how good each and every single piece did. Both the call from Jamppi and the way that they played the retake, and even the individuals just finding their own little pockets in that strategy.
It's getting a little bit crazy right here again, ULF. If you're not able to keep up a spike with just the normal ground going on, how can you keep up a spike when Vitality has 3 ultimates ready and possibly you might lose one person here? But again, the early fault line coming in from Fabian here does wonders for him, because we are pretty sure that Derke has at least held that angle for quite a few times right now. So the early fault line does make a lot of sense. I don't want Chronicle dying here because he still has his ulti, which again provides a lot of value for Team Vitality. But there goes the M for Gathering coming in here from Jamppi. Used his ultimate, gets a lot of information. Blaze-Storm from Sop. Jamppi's dead, but it was worth it maybe. He got enough info for that one, but at least for the first time, ULF does have the number advantage here, Volt.
Now Sayanara is looking for a little bit more, caught on the other angle. Neki shuts down the heavens. They cannot get in. Even the elevation is not there as ULF speed up the pace. That is exactly what they needed to do. Bring in the fight straight to the house of Vitality. And unfortunately this time the bee's nest shaken. But it cannot avenge for the tree falling apart despite Sayanara's best efforts. ULF finally putting one on the board, even taking down all 5. They'll be happy with that one, especially that Vitality expended a few ultimates in their attempt of a retake.
Yeah, but this again shows us the importance of tactical poses when it comes to Valorant, right? Because this has happened for like 3 rounds in a row. Derke picks up early, gets a free kill by the operator, unpunished for so many rounds, but as soon as the tech pause ends, again, sorry, I've been traumatized for a little bit now, but as soon as the tactical pause ends, we've seen the early fault line coming in from Fabian, shutting down the operator on Derke, giving more time for the Waylay to dash in, this time traded if they died. And you still have at least the Hunter's Fury coming in from Sayanara, and also getting very close to the ultimate from the Echo.
Oh, lovely from Jamppi. The 1-2, man, that's so beautiful. They got a player in the site, but Profik just isolated another layer. Just like a maze. Feel like a rat that is trapped in this part of the map, and now nothing to do for Neki and Audas. Sure, the spike to be planted, but if you look at the way that this map is being played now, Derke got the backstab. Operator should be an anchor, should be the linchpin, but there's a chance for Neki to still steal the kill away. With Derke missing, there's a duel given to ULF, but it's not gonna be enough. Sayanara steps up, and he delivers both. And ULF, despite the timeout, just a bump in the road, no more than a single round that they found.
That was a beautiful record coming in from Sayanara as well. Compromising 2 players. Even if only one was revealed by the Reckon, you can definitely expect where the other one is standing to hold this corner from a corner that wasn't really spotted by Vitality, but they know where to expect firepower coming in from ULF. You have to look for these Wrecking Bolts, man. You have to destroy Sayanara's Wrecking Bolts. And again here, I blame only Sop for not being faster on the re-peak to at least try and trade Echo, who fell for a reason.
I think it's unfair though.
It was for no reason.
Because like Vitality switched up their conditioning, right? Like Vitality played a lot slower on B. They didn't press danger, they didn't make this jump. This is the first time that they did it. And even when they did it, there was a Hunter's Fury. So how are you supposed to trade easily, right? Even the angle that they're supposed to pass through wasn't the easiest of ones. Derke still alive, lucky enough that he's got the support of Kron, and even he will deliver one of his own. The spray down delivers immense damage, and this might be a round over from ULF before it even begins. They're caught on all lines of sight, and Chronicle rolling back the years, just shutting down the site. Even on the harbor, he's able to deliver. Him and Derke shoving down all 5, and that's a 7th on the board for Vitality.
It's quite scary because even the things that are expected by Team ULF coming in from Vitality, they're not able to react to it fast enough. You know that Derke has been opening that angle for so many times. Ever since the tactical pause happened, we've been seeing a fault line from Fabian every time to shut down Derke, but they did not expect the Blaze Storm. Now, soon as they heard the updraft on that corner, they knew that this was one person that is not gonna be stopped by map borders because he's definitely peeking that far angle outside of the site. Yet he was able to take one person and dash away. So, even if you know it's coming, Vitality just does it better, really. It's a matter of not just reading them anymore, not just adapting anymore. It's just a matter of gapping them every round. And this time Derke decides to change his operator position. And Jamppi's going on the flank. You just cannot expect them. And even if you do, they just do it better, ULF.
Still, Audas getting that kill. Giving ULF some space to play in the site. It's a crossfire that usually can work in the favor of the attacking side, but the utility coming in, the Reckoning, shutting down the site, but the players off-site are the ones that are doing all the damage. Another one from Neki. Kron has gone early, and it's all in the hands of Prophet, who drops down into danger, but the shorty is not reaching enough. And ULF find the second. And I feel like this still could be better than the 10-2 that we have seen on Haven. But the reality of the situation is, the ultimates are still rolling over quicker for Vitality. So at the bare minimum, I'm expecting an 8th.
I might be able to blame like just one person for that past round. Jamppi, full flying position, could have killed Fabian and just called it a day. He decided to get a little bit greedy, looking for more and more kills, perhaps with a good trigger discipline, but Fabian had enough time to react. And Echo just celebrated his 18th birthday 2 days ago, so happy birthday, Echo. Happy birthday to you. And I think Derke has also been celebrating with him, like, with these op shots, giving him gifts after gifts when peeking sides. But there you go.
Someone to spoil the party. A great collateral there. Echo and all that, shutting down any attempts of a retake. They deny the flood before it even starts, and Derke now willing to roll back the years. We haven't seen a big multi-kill from the Finnish duelist. Now is the time for him to combine with Prophet. Yeah, I agree. That was an overpeak for sure. Still got the shocks. Still can find the time. Prophet gets the 1v1, but Derke quick on the trade. And it's beautiful from Vitality. A team that is ever so flexible. And right now, they're showing the standard of what you're supposed to be delivering as the VCT level team.
Even saves the operator. Cherry on top of the cake now. You don't have to deal with one oak, maybe two, perhaps. Or did he pick up that operator for himself? It doesn't matter, because in both cases, I do not think that ULF's economy looks so good here, Chief. And again, so many questionable plays. I think at this point, like, there's so many just random peaks coming in from Team ULF trying to figure out how to counter Vitality, but there has not been a single death from Vitality's side that has not been traded or happened for a specific reason. Now we got one person, actually two persons with a Spectre. And at this point, the fault line is going to be coming in a little bit late from Fabian. You should give that ultimate point to Fabian because his Rolling Thunder makes it easier to enter sites. No, they give it to Sub instead. Questionable choice, but alright. He gets a kill to make up for it anyways. That definitely was the plan, yes? But he dies. So he doesn't have the ultimate anymore. Cancel everything I just said.
Well, rolling back around. Apparently is what we were trying to do. Kron, ever so reliable from that position. Finds even two more. And he needs to make it all 5. But he's gonna be denied. Orders! Shutting down Vitality. Some life in the Wolves. The pack survives. And they're given Vitality a farm for their money.
Alright. Ow for you, Mr. Orders. That was a beautiful round coming in from both him and Chronicle. Untouched, by the way, up until the last play going in here from Orders, who was in a 2v1. 2v1, or at least 3v1 was it. Still manages to win it without any util, and this is why ULF are scary. Sometimes, when things look bad, you might have someone like Orders just shooting heads. He kills Chronicle with a few body shots as well, but that doesn't matter, just take it and leave it. Avian still has his ultimate, so I wouldn't want them trying to enter a side without at least one of these, and he definitely knows here as well that there might be some focus on Sayanara. You've got him concussed, but it doesn't matter. He's still taking one more with him before he dies.
How did he even do that? Hindered, sure, understand first bullet accuracy, but the second one was absolute magic from the North Moldovan. And now Necky's left in the clutch. Last time around, the Astra delivered. Now, you need your wits. It's an eye of magic. It's an eye of science. Supposed to give the foresight to Necky. And he's got the right read, isolating the one-on-one with Derke. Might even catch him off guard outright. Derke's none the wiser. Sova peeking just around the angle. And Derke is not prepared. Necky now making the A-site his black tempo. And Jamppi have to be successful in the raid. The rage of ULF still alive. 40 seconds is the timer. And Necky has made the gambit. He's run around from backside, moved over to heaven. The arrow to feign the presence, but Jamppi not spotted by it. And he's still looking for the angle. Necky needs to go for a peek. Catches Jamppi on the timing and is back-to-back clutches for ULF. And they finally get to see some fight. 4 rounds is not the best thing in the world, but that's much more of a fighting spirit. With a pistol, we might really have a competitive affair.
Yeah, if you're able to take down these 2 pistol rounds, I'm guessing ULF does definitely have a strong chance of coming back in a series. And again, Necky and Otto stealing themselves. I would say that Necky definitely was underperforming when it came to Haven. Wrecking Balls came a little bit late in these past few rounds, but he's been doing really well on Abyss so far. Again, massive plays coming in for him. Specifically, I'm not that forgetting the 1 round day 1 when he was extremely smart with the slow going out on rope. So this is like the second clutch coming in here from Necky alone, securing his team 2 wins. And I could say the same thing for Orders. Individual skill might not save you for so long, but it will definitely give you a fighting spirit cutting Volt. So that spirits are up. They're ready to come back if they can keep up the same play style. Now, I wonder how you will be able to apply the same exact methods when it comes to defense side. Because if ULF knows one thing, it is how to cause chaos on attack. But the Recon, we see them start suffering really hard when it comes to utilities and defense side. So if you want to have a high chance of winning, pistol rounds are your favorite chance here. You've got to do it. Pistol rounds are gone, means Vitality might be able to close it out without even a chance for comeback.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not only that you need to win the pistol. Like we've seen in the Haven, it can get ugly if the Outlaws are brought into question. And we've seen a couple of massive rounds here to close off this half, but realistically, I gotta say, even despite those last couple of rounds, they were only heroics. We haven't really seen a coordinated assault from ULF. It's gonna be a little bit easier on the defense. You can pick and choose your battles. And the arrow not spotting either of the to-do list, but Vitality, the ever so smart team that they are, the call has been made. They've abandoned the A side despite not using the arrows. The full-on assault on middle. and ULF have conceded that little bit of space, Morgan. So now Neki will be tested by 3. Lucky not to lose his head there by the Sheriff. Jamppi has been quite a handful himself. Sleight of hand from the Yoru. Needs to deliver the killing blow. If anything, it's ULF that beats them to the punch. It is only Derke that found the kill. Still 3 on 4. There's an advantage for ULF and a player on the site that should have been able to deliver the killing blow. A little bit labored for Audas, but he still got the kill in the end. That is beautiful play from the Astra. And he just walked into the crosshair there, Profik. Audas making it look easy, but it was anything but.
Yeah, lovely round coming in from ULF. Hoping for more and more. You now have the double duelist as well, so that's double marshals. Free way to get out after you miss at least one shot. At least, shall I say. At least for the Jet. Maybe on the way late as well, because you're able to get back extremely quickly. But again, Audas has been playing out of his mind for these past few rounds. And what is it up again with duelists not performing and getting kills and matters being taken into the hands of controllers and initiators in this game? I have no clue. But we got Derke.
To be fair though, to be fair, that has been the case for Vitality ever since kickoff. That has been the case for Vitality for quite a while. Jamppi is supposed to be the duelist that gets the job done, but with a firepower disadvantage like that one, it is always expected that ULF are gonna win.
Okay, I'll tell you what we say in these cases. IGL tax. There you go, that's your execution. Derke maybe might have been able to do a little bit more here, but Fabian says no. And that's a beautifully orchestrated round. Again, how many times have we seen one member from ULF again able to take at least like 4 people by his own? Yeah. 5, 6 rounds, I think. At this point, ULF's firepower has really elevated since Haven. And are we really sure that the map V2 was correct? Because it seems like it's in reverse. It seems like ULF chose Abyss and Vitality chose Haven, but it's the other way around.
And I gotta say, I'm just so impressed by Vitality there. The amount of damage that they've caused, right? Because they've lost Jamppi. And from what we've seen off screen, both the Shock Dart and the Utility all came in at the right time. The Saturate is the only part that missed. A pair there from Derke that still made that round expensive in the end. They only lost 2, which I feel like is just the most important part. And he didn't, so only kept 2 rather, not lost 2. So Sop there, very pivotal for him to stay alive. Vitality might be piling on the pressure, but Jamppi's left with a measly 13 points of HP. It's a great start for ULF. Good damage. They've kept the game afloat. And Sop still, with the operator in middle, might be afforded another duel.
At least the firepower is equal on both sides. Safe to announce, maybe not, because Sub does have an operator on his team. But you got Fabian on a Guardian and you got Odas on a Bulldog. And you have 5 assault rifles on Vitality's side. Now this should sound a little bit scary, especially with Vitality spotting Fabian here. You do know that he's 1 point away from his ultimate though, so you need to watch out for the Rolling Thunder because it's one of the most massive utility tools for a comeback and for a retake on a site that definitely is small enough to cover so many corners in with that Breach ulti if it's ready. Chronicle does plant and the time is ticking. Tick tock for the retake, but Echo gets spotted and if he doesn't land the kill here, this might be bad for the Wolves.
I mean, it's a lot better with Audas, but he's shut down by Sayanara. Still, he got now his own Hunter's Fury. Fabian's still alive, but as he said, needed 1 more orb to get in play. Timer is ticking. And ULF are scaling on all fronts. Now they press back side. The high-low proven too much for Jamppi to handle. Still the second player on site. Patience from Chronicle. And he strikes just in the nick of time. They might be the Wolf, but Chronicle is the apex predator.
They did not expect him coming in from that corner. They did not expect that there was one person still hiding here because you still have Harbor alive, you still have Astra alive. They want to be playing from outside the site to set up the stars, and there is no counterplay for the Astra star on the post plant, okay? They can just push you out from the defuse immediately. Yeah. The demise of just one button, but they did not expect to see Chronicle still in sight. So the flag and drag coming in from Profik gave the perfect setup for Chronicle to be unexpectedly pushing them now, and another timeout coming in from ULF. This is their second and last. Vitality still has both of their timeouts and saw buying an operator in a round with both of his teammates. or let's say at least the ones who are alive, were not fully armed, is now nothing but a donation to Derke for that operator. And let me tell you that opening in defense side is more efficient than a base, yes? But in Derke's head, that's a different story. Still giving that guy an operator might be really bad news.
I'll always give it to Jamppi, not gonna lie. Like, as much as I like Derke, as much as I think that maybe on a breeze you would run that, I would run the double opposite the same way that they did on defense, but on attack, you need someone to be flexible.
You need the Euro flashes though. Like on attacking side, you kind of need this Euro hands to be free for him to flash for someone, because essentially you're using him as a secondary initiator, yes? So you definitely.
I mean, in a way, yeah. Here's the thing: it's a mix and match, right? You can do the two. You can do either. Derke's the one that gets the op this time around, and he's playing as the point man. He's trying to beat them to the punch, but I love this from side of ULF. Still got the retreat, and they indeed fracked all back into Link. And now Vitality wants to press mid. They have to re-clear the entirety of it. And mind you, while ULF have pulled back the Waylay, they've double rotated into the bend. So now B site is a no-go. If Vitality goes towards the A site, correct choice, and they seem to be leaning heavier and heavier towards that part. But it shouldn't have been a free jump from Jamppi. He really should have been punished. And that might be the mistake that will carry over double digits for Vitality.
Still have the Hunter's Fury on Sayanara. This should be one of the best tools in order to be able to maintain that spike. They still have Profik, who's still alive. Are these 5 stars available on him or no stars? I think it's no stars. Decides to use the Hunter Fury very aggressively though, because he knows that the position at least of one player has been compromised. Takes down one and Derke takes the other. And Jamppi knocks down Fabian by that shorty. And now it's Neki against the world, because Vitality's not gonna be waiting for a post plan with the Hunter's Fury. Takes down at least 3 players with that ultimate. Even if it doesn't kill him, it lets them run around in chaos. And now Vitality flips the table on ULF, and now they need only 3 rounds to call it a day.
As they would say, how the tables have turned, but I feel like really all that we've seen is ULF showing us the last hurrah, the Hail Mary, as they would say. They gave it their all individually, but as a unit, clearly, Vitality is taking the better of them. Right now, Vitality switching up their play, heavier on the B side, and they might lean into the contact on the other side. Jamppi, of course, has a get out of jail free card. And luckily enough for ULF, Neki decided not to peek into that one, because remember, their economy is indeed broken, so they're trying to fish for advantages, and mid isn't that bad, because they can flood into the rotate quickly. They might even catch them in transition. Vitality might not be ready for that player on bend.
One person who's definitely always ready is Jamppi. Even if Vitality isn't, he always is. Sayonara knocks down Slop, and now it's hi? Why are we pushing the smokes like that? Hello, orders. Goodbye, orders. Chronicle does it this time. It wasn't Sayonara, but that's a flawless round coming in from Vitality, because Alpha just scattered across the map. And I think if the tactical timeout didn't give them enough info on what to do or how to win Vitality, because we've seen their coach really shine in times like these. But I think when you get a tactical timeout and it's still the same rhythm, Saab's operator is now the final straw for Team Vitality. If he's not able to get an important kill, and let that be at least Jamppi or Chronicle because they have their ultimates, yeah? Or let it at least be Derke, because then they lose their operator and they lose half of their firepower when it goes to duelists falling down. I think it's a very important round for ULF.
Yeah, I'll say, like, congratulations to Statsman, whoever it is in production, that said they're looking for an improvement. They have indeed found an improvement, just not one that will net them a win, apparently, on the side of ULF. The start is great from Vitality. Damage onto Echo. They even identified where their operator is for the defense, so maybe now they can slow down the pace a bit. I mean, they haven't officially found where Stop is playing at, but naturally so. When you got 2 players on the B site, neither of which are rifling, you would understand that the Opper just have to be towards A main, which is why they are still looking to keep on the pressure on that B site, just in a different flavor. And when the drone doesn't spot them, now they can all scale up for the split. Everything rests on Audas and how many kills they can find.
A little bit worried here, Fabian. Only 1 flash left and the full line in his hands. Vitality saves up so much util, and now he gets paranoid. Oh, wait, sorry, it wasn't paranoid. It was the flash coming in from Euro.
It was, I think, right?
Was it the Harbor, in fact? Oh, yeah, it was Harbor.
Yeah.
Not even nominated this match. What is this guy yapping? Anyways, Neki knocks down Profik and Chronicle. Sayonara knocks down Fabian, who's had maybe halfway through his ultimate. Wasn't really useful anyway, especially after he used all of his flashes. But a pick is a pick. And now Sob still has his operator. Echo's heavily damaged though. Jamppi, luckily enough, still has the Rift Wall going on A side.
10 seconds left.
Maybe to be able to rotate back.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
He cannot plant in time. The spike is already gone. And ULF take the round just by freezing it, and Sob luckily gets to see his operator for another round. But Derke saves.
Same for Vitality, right? Derke picked it up in the end, or Jamppi rather picked it up in the end for Derke, but even then, not looking the best for Vitality, because really outside of that play that they found in mid, the success that they got on Audaz, the way that they split just wasn't really that successful. You know, you were talking about how Jamppi's supposed to be more supportive a little bit more with the flashes and everything. How many blindsides have we actually seen being successfully capitalized upon? That is the real stat. And I guess another statistic that's going to be very important is the head-to-head of the snipers. This time around, Jamppi got caught off in the off angle. Great work to play the elevation. And Vitality, this time, getting the drop on the defense. Necessary to find the success, and Derke is as clinical as ever. Finds the first no trade on Fabian, so he gets the repeat success with the assistance of Neki, and they cannot find anything else on the side of Vitality, while Kron have found himself in the heart of the site. It's a 2-on-3, and they're begging to find an advantage anyway to make this retake playable.
It's now a gun game. Not many utils left for all of them, except for Profik, maybe who still has 1 or 2 stars up his sleeve. And Chronicle is not getting his util anytime back sooner, if I'm not wrong. Beautiful Worlds Divided coming in here from Audaz, only to fall down. I'm sorry if I cursed you, buddy, but Profis is on the line and he's gunning him down! Like dominoes, they fall one by one on his hand. It doesn't really matter if Vitality doesn't have any more util. They still have Chronicle and they have Profik on the line to assure they're one more step away from victory.
It was such a great round there from Derke to start it over, but that space is capitalized on so perfectly by Profik in the end that I really thought that ULF won the round here. When they got those couple of duels, they were playing the retake, got to it heaven. It was just them not really dedicating enough resources for the other side. That allowed Profik to have so much freedom. They didn't even stick to the heaven, they instead dropped, as you've said, and guess what? You're an easy target when you're dropping. So it makes things a lot easier for the other side, and now Vitality knocking on the door. It might be an improvement for ULF, but nowhere near enough to find the win. Derke again, but Audaz trying to be the hero. Except this time, the villains looking to find the victory. They're supposed to be the team that knocks on all doors, but it's only on Profik. Sob has found the space for his teammate. It's a one-on-one. Hate as blood runs in the veins of Sob. He's going for the duel, so hungry to find anyone. But on the opposite end, Profik is just so damn patient. Got the spike, Morgan. And he can make the decision of a lifetime. If you run over to VIT, he's going to get that site for free, and Sob is just going to be flabbergasted.
I think it was really smart as well not to pick up any weapons here. He doesn't want to make any sound. And he trusts his outlaw skills, despite the fact that Sob does have a full shield yet. And Astra in a 1v1 planting on site should be a massive advantage to the attacker as usual. So many reasons. 1, she has smokes. 2, he's the one that has the side advantage and has so many corners to hide in. 3, he's the one that has the star that pulls you immediately out from the spike. No negotiations, 0 counterplay. You cannot destroy it, you cannot time it, you cannot bait it. But he also knows where Profik is exactly standing. I mean, Sob, but anyways, it doesn't matter because 1 shot to the head was already in the action. So just ignore everything I said. Profik takes it with a clean 2-0 for Vitality. What a beautiful game coming in here from them to take it with a clean 2-0.
What are you even supposed to do when Profik shows up like that? First the 3K on the B side to seal off the round, and that shot. Oh, that was out of this world. Beautiful work from Vitality as a whole. You know, we highlighted Profik, but mind you, he was the second lowest on the scoreboard of his team. Kron and Sayanara both delivered more than 20 kills. 20 on the dot for Sayanara, 23 for Kron. And, well, everyone did their job. You know, the duelists got the opening kills. Kron, Sayanara, and Profik all really benefited of that space, and despite all of his best efforts and all the individual hero plays that we've seen from the Ascension winners in 2025, I feel like Vitality have shown that there are different levels to this game.
Yeah, lots and lots of communication skills and beautifully orchestrated util usage and a lot of firepower coming in from that team. Vitality take another win and now they're up one more step, getting close to be the EMEA Clash 2026 winners. But now, we have to go back to MP and KK to tell us how exactly was ULF close to victory in that map.
Thank you, Volt and Morgan. We thought this time will be different, but no, something just never changed. And one of those things is Vitality absolutely crushing ULF. It happened again.
Yeah, I mean, ULF, good thing for them, they doubled their rounds compared to the previous one. I think they actually over than doubled, but in the end, it's not quite enough when you face against this such an experienced team. I think for SOP and Echo, it was kind of a cold shower right here. They were absolutely getting demolished. SOP, where he usually finds a lot of value in the attacking side operator, he couldn't really find any value this time around. I think he was shut down quite easily. Or quite often, I mean. Maybe there was few rounds that SOP were able to find picks, but most of the times Vitality were on top of their game, and before even SOP could peek, he was pretty much dead.
I agree. I think one of the main thing in this encounter is that SOP was not up to the level we've seen him before in this tournament. And I mean, maybe this is rooting back into the fact that he's actually very young. He's still 17 and he is still the beginning of his international career, and maybe the side of Vitality was just a bit too much pressure for him. Also, it's been a few days they've been playing, so I don't know what happened for SOP, but definitely it didn't really work. I also felt like the Arbor was actually pretty impactful on this game, especially his wall, right? It really stops the opponent team, because if you cross, you're slowed and it's kind of dissuading.
Yeah, and the way that this composition usually works, the Waylay and Jet, you have double dive onto your site, you usually break that smoke, try to create the space onto site. When you have Harbor, it's still hard for your teammates to cross that wall. Like you said, it slows you down, so you will absolutely get punished there. I think ULF kind of did play well with this composition, but then on the other hand, you have Vitality, who plays kind of far back or up front, so you don't get punished by the double duelist and the breach combination on the side. It was a really tough situation for ULF. I'm actually really glad that this wasn't such a dominance performance compared to that Haven. I'm really glad that ULF actually got some rounds on the board. They were able to bring this to a decently close feat, but in the end, like we said, it's not quite enough. It was a decent performance. Audas was on fire, that I have to say.
Yeah, so others definitely played well on Abyss, but it was not enough to make the team win and even to cross the 10 round step, because they only had 7. It's still a bit more than what they did previously on Abyss, but it's definitely not enough. And I think on the side of Vitality, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, actually. They played on the defense really, as you said, really far back, and were mostly focusing on the retake. Out of the 8 round they gain, 6 were actually defusing the spike. So the site was successfully taken by ULF a lot of the time, but I think it was mostly Vitality trying to stay back and focus on the retake with a strong execute.
Yeah, and if I'm not completely wrong, I think most of those times when Vitality went for the retakes, they usually had the advantage to that round already because they found a pick and then they fell back. That's the, I think, definition of being a tier 1 team. You know exactly when to fall back, when to play the numbers, and you're calm and collected. You don't want to put your advantage to danger. I mean, I think we kind of saw some duels in Haven where Vitality were testing those advantages, but they were so confident there. In Abyss, it was a little bit different story because ULF got a small hold there, but like I said, Vitality, they are the one who takes it all. Chronicle, just upping his performance there, and even though Derke is right there with 13 kills or 15 kills rather, he got all of the entries he went for. He was 5-0 in entry kills, and that is exactly what you look for when you look for a duelist.
This is definitely what you want, because actually he's not that high in kills and ACS as you said, but 5-0 first kill first death is absolutely stunning performance from your duelist. This is exactly what you want, and in fact if you look at the first kill statistics, ULF only got 5 where Vitality got 15, so 3/4 of the time Vitality had the numerical advantage. This is a huge difference in how the run will play out.
Yeah, and it's very easy to play that retake when you have those number advantages when you get the first kill, and that's exactly what happened. ULF only got 3 entries on their attacking side. On their attacking side, they got only 4 rounds. I think that's a clear correlation to how many entries they got to how many rounds they got. Vitality usually finding those picks, being able to convert them into the rounds, and Chronicle, he is the one we highlighted. He's the one in that forefront, getting 23 kills as the Harbor. Amazing assist as well, 14 right there. His KDA incredible in this match.
Yeah, the assist number is mainly linked to iTides. Is well, actually he had a lot on the attack side because he put it every time. That was almost the same thing. They would put high tides around the BPE so they could enter and plant quite casually, but in the end ULF starting to try and cross the wall, but then they would be slowed. It would be a lot of assists for Chronicles. I think they kind of pushed ULF in a corner where they acted more from how they felt rather than how they should think strategically about the game.
Yeah, and it's kind of the first time we highlight this economy graph in terms of us analyst and a host, but you can definitely see that line for the team Vitality. It's way even. For ULF, it's bouncing up and down. Them not being able to hold that economy showed how Vitality were just able to snowball this game out of the hand. Obviously having such an impactful players on your roster and such an amazing team with full experience for multiple tournaments, multiple international events, and the grand events as well, champions, masters, winners, and it's very hard for all who just qualified for this VCT stage to do anything in that situation.
They will have another chance because they're not eliminated yet. They will just fall to the lower bracket. So in the opposite bracket, so they are in Omega right now, and ULF will go to the lower bracket of Alpha. They will face either UCAM or Besiktas. There's another chance maybe to face either Giantex or FUT because there are 2 winners in this EMEA Clash, so they could be the second winner alongside Vitality, even though they failed against them.
Yeah, and to me, I really want to hear about this matchup and how it kind of went down. I think we have probably an interview here coming up with Derke.
Hello Derke, thank you so much for being here with us. Congrats on the win, it was impressive. My first question for you is, obviously, Sayanara is joining your roster. It's a young new player, and I was thinking, how do you feel in terms of energy and about the first stage with him joining the roster?
I mean, we were all excited to play with him again because we did in off-season stuff, practice of course, and then Anfe kind of took his time because Sayanara wasn't 18 and stuff, and you know, like, or got Anfe was playing a bit of solo here and there, and he's calm, and Sayanara is a bit vocal, energetic and stuff, so it was kind of exciting to see how it will look again, because yeah, he was energetic and vocal today, but maybe sometimes a bit too much to the point where I had to be like, okay, maybe I'll stay quiet a bit and stuff. But it was fun playing, and I think today we cooked up some comps and stuff that we just wanted to try how it goes in season. We were just enjoying the day today.
I mean, you cooked up a comp that was quite straightforward in Haven. I mean, you've been around since the beginning and seen many different teams on different levels. What are the differences of facing a team like ULF, who is full of players without the experience from Tier 1, compared to a team that would have, let's say, similar amount of experience to your roster? What are the differences there? What stuff is harder and what stuff is easier?
I mean, they shoot pretty hard. For me, I think the most important thing was to kind of like that we just go and play our game. Because I think with Clash, with Sayanara coming back in, it's just like how we can make ourselves comfortable more than anything. And then we look at the opponent's second kind of. And I think today it wasn't just like, oh, they play like this. It was just like, let's play our game. Kron, just walk here, I'll cover you, stuff. It was kind of like just how teams will communicate, kind of like first times, you know, like without any stress and stuff. So for us, it was just important, like fundamentals, how we play together and communication, just having a good time and seeing like what works and what doesn't. And I think just me also trying out Jet on some maps was also a good test for this Clash and stuff, kind of like what we can play, where I can go, how I can help, or how I can be aggressive. And for me, test succeeded, so I'm happy with that. Chronicle also had his time on Harbor and on Chamber, so we're happy with that.
Yeah, you look incredible. Okei, otetaan tää suomeksi nyt. Te olette päässyt Jampinkaan myllyttää tupladuellistisettariin servulla, ja ulkopuolelta se näyttää, että te oikeasti nautitte siitä. Niin mä haluan kuulla, että minkälaista se on siellä joukkueen sisällä, mitkä asiat on vaan parempaa kuin toinen suomalainen, ja varsinkin Jamppi siinä samassa joukkueessa.
No on kyllä hauskaa, kun me annetaan näille muille sanoa niin kuin suomalaisia sanoja. Tänään vaikein sana oli Karjalan piirakka varmaan pojille, koska Jamppi oli syömässä Karjalan piirakkaa ennen matsia, niin oli hyvä. Kun se heti veti siitä 4K-pislos, niin oli tosi hyvä. Ja sen kanssa pelaaminen on aina hauskaa. Me vedetään suomeksi ja niin edespäin kutseissa. Ja ihan hauska olla niin kuin suomalaisen kanssa jengissä taas ja niin edespäin. Ja tupla tulee sillä pelaamassa niin kuin Joru ja niin. Tosi hauskaa mun mielestä.
Nice.
Well, thank you for this. Hopefully MP will translate after. Maybe one last very quick question for you, Derke, but you're playing in this new roster with two players that you really know very well, EMP and Chronicle. Is it something that helps as a team to be around people that you actually like?
Yeah, I mean, it helps a lot. I mean, with Jamppi, I haven't played before. We were playing against each other for many years and stuff, so we spoke here and there. With Koranka, again, we played against each other at one point and with each other and stuff, so it's good to have some of that synergy back. And I'm just happy with all the boys, like, today, and especially, like, overall, because we're just having good energy, good vibes, always playing kind of well and trying to have fun, and we're not scared to have, like, straightforward talks and stuff, so it's always good, so I'm happy, especially with those two.
Well, I bet you have fun in the rest of the EMEA Clash, and good luck for the rest of your season. Also, thank you very much, Derke, for being with us tonight. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Derke. Incredible insight. Obviously, if you, for some reason, don't know Finnish, I can translate that.
For some reason.
Basically, I asked Derke, they gotten to play with Jamppi now. From the outside, it looks like they are actually having a lot of fun with the double duel setup. And I wanted to get a little insight there. What are the best things to have another Finnish player in your team, and that Finnish player being Jamppi? And Derke actually said teaching Finnish words to other teammates. And today's word was Karjalan piirakka, which is Karelian pie. It's a Finnish traditional food, because Jamppi was eating that during the games. Derke also said with Jamppi it's always fun to play and speak Finnish, and it's always fun to have a Finnish player alongside you. Well, I can just imagine Derke and Jamppi teaching some Finnish words to other teammates there and being like, yeah, this is that.
Yeah, this team I think looks like they're having fun, and I think it can really happen for them. International events, this roster has a lot of promises, and I'm sure we're going to see them again. Stay with us because we will come back for a very brand new showdown. But right now, get some tea, do whatever, because we're having a short break.
Become easy, but this double swing should be difficult.
The EMEA season kicks off at full throttle in 2026. Right after the conclusion of VCT EMEA kickoff and before the start of Masters Santiago, a brand new competition enters the arena, VALORANT EMEA Clash. With 3 VCT EMEA slots on the line for Masters Santiago, 6 of the remaining 9 teams will earn a chance to battle the best teams from the Challengers regions. VALORANT EMEA Clash features 2 interconnected double elimination brackets, Alpha and Omega. Each of these brackets will then crown its own champion. The top 4 teams from VCT EMEA kickoff will be seeded directly into the second round of these brackets, receiving a bye, and the remaining 2 VCT teams will join 6 Challengers teams in a shared pool. From there, a fully randomized draw will determine placements, with one rule only: the 2 VCT teams cannot land in the same bracket. Starting from round 2, a loss in the upper bracket of Alpha sends a team into the lower bracket of Omega, and vice versa. Every defeat reshapes the battlefield, forcing teams to clash across the 2 worlds as the tournament progresses. As the event unfolds, Alpha and Omega will continue to intertwine at every stage, keeping both teams and fans on edge. Are you ready for Clash? Tune in February 19th to the 25th and support your favorite team as 2 worlds collide for the very first time.
Made our mistakes, the good and bad days, but nothing really breaks if I got you. Look at the sky when you go outside, and know there is nothing to keep me back from you.
나의 속도가 돈이라면 벤섬이 더 세게 괴롭혀봐 나를 rain on me 다가서면 뱅뱅 전부 걸어 게임처럼 너의 고개를 떨굴 때는 댄서니 모두 몸에 걸어 눈이 빛나는 걸로 전부 걸치고 나니 노리는 것들이 꿔 발밑에 쫓아와도 너는 절대 못 껴 넘어질 배포도 없는 애들은 no 따라오지 못하는 건 내 알바가 아니지 그래서 the boys not my type 아니 거리동이 틈에 판이 바뀌지 이기는 건 당연하니 cause my type 시시하게
was meant to meet. Distance kept things apart. This is the moment where everything shifts. What are you afraid of?
Welcome back, everyone. The night is not over yet. We still have an amazing matchup ahead of us. It's gonna be Giant X against FUT. This is gonna be a good one also.
It absolutely is gonna be. If you missed that first match, Vitality took that win against ULF 2-0, and on the lower bracket, Enterprise has taken 2-0 against Job Life. But like you said, the matches are not over. Giant X will face FUT here, and I'm gonna be honest, this is an interesting one because we've seen new looks from Giant X as well. Westside has been on fire, but before we go into the match, I think we have some kind of a different clash coming up.
I think so, that we're gonna have the result of the second clash.
Okay, Navi, okay. They're taking the win over Focus. I'm gonna be honest, I think Focus clip was decent. I could have gone either way, but Navi will take this one. And even though Navi's out of the tournament in the out of the first clash, they are here almost in the final of the second clash. It's yet to be decided, but we have another second clash, Giant X versus ULF Esports. It's interesting because is this the first time Giant X or a team is at the same time in the first clash and the second clash?
It's the first time we see them in the second clash, so yes, they make their entry. We don't know yet what the clip would look like, so this is brand new information from everyone. And actually, they're taking down both Turkish team at the same time, so let's see if Giant X clip is up to the standard.
I mean, they could win it twice. They could win in the upper final and in this clash, but that's this second clash. It's not decided by us. It's not decided by Giant X. It's decided by you, Krubinho. Damn. That must have been an important 2 picks with the classic, because that seems like a round is going towards Giant X, who didn't have much investment in this round.
It's not finished yet. We've seen 2 pistol kills already against Mate, no less. Very good team in the kickoff.
Yeah, they got all the way to the Masters, and Krubinho finishing that with the 4K. Thrifty coming in. That's such an important round, and I'm gonna be honest, I think there has to be a really good clip from the side of ULF to beat this one, but I mean, the one thing we know the Turkish players to do is absolutely clip farm. They know how to shoot.
Even Derke said so, so I think you can trust him, because in the matter of shooting, I think Derke is one of the best players in the world. So if he respects the Turkish player, I think you have to, but we'll see what ULF... To be honest, I forgot what it was, so let's discover it together.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, so I'm really excited. Wonder if it's Fabian who... Oh, that's a great flank. That's a great looking flank.
I remember now, yes, the flank. Yes, okay, this is a good one. Very good one from ULF.
Oh, the trigger discipline as well. That can sometimes be bad. That can sometimes be terrible, but at that moment it absolutely paid off for Fabian. And once again, I'm in the situation, I don't know which one to pick, but once again, I'm thanking that we don't have to make the pick, because this is actually this is really difficult for me. 2 kind of different type of clips. One is a Thrifty, one a great flank, great pincher maneuver in that garage area. Damn, that would be a tough one to pick.
I think the flank is nice. There's both the aim and the strategy, because having to, I remember talking about this in the early days of Clash, that, I mean, the early days, like it's been 2 years, but you know what I mean? It's been 2 years for me, right?
Yeah.
And yes, it was a good one, but we are not the one deciding, you are the one deciding in chat, so please vote and elect the best clip we will see at the end of the match. The next match, who has won? But let's take a look at the bracket, because as you said, we had some result from the lower bracket. Job Life is eliminated from Enterprise Esports. I think this team is after the French. What is happening? Is it possible that they face Vitality? Because I'm starting to be scared.
I think, does Enterprise go to the other side? I'm not
Yes,
quite
all
sure.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Enterprise versus Vitality because they looked so solid against Carmine Corp. Unfortunately, we couldn't see them play against Job Life, but if you check the stream, you could have seen that. I'm sure they looked solid there as well. So Vitality, they have secured the final spot. They know they're already in there, and now it's a second final spot to be secured. Giant X versus FUT Gaming. I mean, I'm gonna be, or FUT Esports rather. This is gonna be a tough matchup. Thankful for them, it's not an elimination match, it's a qualification match to the final, and you will absolutely secure some money, some glory to get to that final.
Yes, I think it's gonna be a good one. Giant X and FUT, they've both been looking great. We've not seen that much from their Giant X. They've only had one game against Stallions. It looked pretty convincing, but still Stallions, I think, was not to the level of FUT. So this is gonna be a bit different, but I think there can still be a great thing from this team.
Yeah, Giant X, obviously a strong team, really great names here. Cloud, he's been with the roster for so many years. He was actually in Giant Gaming before it was merged with the XL Esports. So he's been here, he's the ideal of this roster, incredible player. He's been pretty much face of this roster, face of this organization for as long as I can remember, now having multiple incredible players alongside him. I think Ara is one of the players I've been looking at for past year now. Westside, incredible performance in this tournament already. We're gonna talk about Westside a little bit later, kind of pit him against another player in FUT, but I'm gonna be honest, Giant X, they look strong. They are fresh from that champs run. They couldn't quite get the champs playoff place, or they couldn't get deep in the playoffs, but they got some decent wins against Sentinels and XLG. That's why they didn't make any roster changes, and they're happy with this roster.
Yeah, let's not forget that they actually went to champs bid pretty recently. So even if the kickoff was not exactly up to the level we were looking for from Giant X, still I think they're an incredible team and they can definitely come back stronger. Let's hope that this actually happened this year. As you say, Ara is an amazing player. He has a very high clutch statistic, a player that you can really rely on.
Yeah, and Giant X, I think apart from losing against Vitality 0-13, I think apart from that, they had a decent start of this year. Their kickoff, I don't think it was bad by any means. I think it was actually decent, but they couldn't quite get all the way to Master Santiago because they lost against Team Liquid. That was the end of their run there. On the other side, you have FUT Esports. I think this is an incredible team as well. They've had kind of back and forth with their roster moves. Last year, Zenit came in for Ada Captain, then he left, then in came Crossdali and Baja. That time, Krax went to the bench, but then after the disappointing kickoff, Baja has now been benched and Krax is back. It's been back and forth, and I think this is something that is not the greatest for FUT. They haven't had that solid roster for that long time. Now they have a new player in again. Well, Krax has been with the roster for so many years, but he wasn't there last year, so difficult roster moves happening.
Yes, I think, and we already talked about it a little bit, I think, in the previous days, but one thing that is also a bit weird from FUT is that they have some weird combination of roles. For example, the free player playing Waylay, I think maybe there is some overlap there and just kind of struggling to find the right footing for the team. Also, Kurax leaving, then coming back. I know he is definitely here because Baha didn't click with the team, so it didn't work at all, and I think they took back Kurax. I don't know if they're gonna actually keep him or if they're looking for a new player, but yes, this is definitely showing that something doesn't work currently and has to be solved.
Yeah, it was interesting because I remember Krax, I think he posted a tweet last year that he's taking the time to go to the bench, and now he's back in the roster. So I do hope Krax is actually back in this roster for good, so we'll get kind of consistency in this roster. But you kind of highlighted the Waylay there. There's 3 different players that play it: Krax, Xus, and Yetu-J, and they do love their Waylay. Before this tournament, I think Reese was the only map they didn't play Waylay in. Now they kind of switched it out on Pearl as well, at least for the match against KC, but it's yet to be seen whether they decide to go away from the Waylay on different maps as well, or go back to the Waylay in Pearl. I'm not quite sure if we're gonna see Pearl today, actually.
Well, I'm not sure either, but yes, I agree with you. They really love their Waylay. This is the agenda they're actually playing all the time. They even play it on Avon, where they're the only team in VCT EMEA to play the Waylay on Avon. So this shows the commitment from this stage. And to come back a little bit on Kurax, it kind of felt strange also that he was benched at the end of the year, because he had, for example, the highest assist of VCT EMEA Stage 2, so it was pretty impactful for the team. It was a bit of a misunderstanding to see him there, to see him leave.
Yeah, it was Krax announcing that he will take the break during the 2026 season, which, I mean, we are in the 2026 season, sure. It's just, it's not the VCT season. But to me, the most interesting players in terms of this matchup is Yetu-J and Westside. Obviously, there's one reason why we have Westside here. He was incredible. He has been just amazing in the start of the year, but in this tournament, Westside is the name that we look out for. He's the one topping the leaderboards, currently leading at 331 ACS, like you see there. Incredible first bloods, headshot percentage rate, amazing player. On the other side, obviously, you have Yetu-J, who has been an absolute beast in this tournament. Against KC, he was on fire on the defensive side, but then again, versus JobLife, most of his success was found on the attacking side. So really versatile player as well.
Very versatile. Actually, he's having a great time in the EMEA Clash, which is good from Yetu-J, because in the kickoff, he was not as impactful as he previously was, and we've seen him being very strong on the roster, on the FUT roster, and on kickoff he was not that great. So it's very good to see that he's starting to perform again. I really hope that he will take this with him on stage 1, and we will see a strong Yetu-J yet again, because this is very good to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And those two players are kind of similar in the way that both of them are known mostly as the sentinel player of the team, but they still have the capability to flex on the duelist roles when needed. And both of the players actually went to champions on their debuting year in VCT. Westside, that was last year, they got pretty far in the champions. For Yetu-J, it was 2024. That was a tough, really quick look on the champs, but it's interesting to see what they can show on the server now faced against each other. Map Vito, Giant X, they have permaban that Corrode. It's not a surprise. FUT has started to permaban that Abyss as well after the first 2 weeks where they actually picked it and lost. And after that, they was like, yeah, we're not gonna play Abyss. And it's happy to see.
I think it's interesting that they switch things a little bit. Split is not the map that they picked. They prefer FUT, they prefer the bind one, so That's gonna be interesting against Giantex. I think they have a pretty decent bind. I'm really wondering what will happen regarding the composition. I don't think we will see a Yoru West side on bind, even though it could happen. But
hey, anything could happen.
Anything could happen. And the chat is on the side of Giantex. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do think Giant X has a small lead here when coming into this matchup. I think they were a little bit better at the start of this year, and especially because FUT has had this struggle with their rosters. I'm happy to see that we're going bind, Haven split. Are we back in 2021 or what? Having those
yes,
three maps
that's true.
is great. But to me, it was interesting to see that FUT was actually the team picking up bind, because Giant X, sure, they are 0 and 3 in bind, but I was thinking that they might pick it because their matches have been really close in that map.
Yes.
They usually been, what, 2 rounds difference? I think one match was a 3-round difference. Interesting to see where they go in terms of the composition. Are we gonna see some more experiments here?
We are.
Yeah.
I mean,
for the damn Waylay for both.
I live for it, because usually on bind they play the Sky Sage, so this was also a bit weird in 2026. Hello. So I'm I'm loving this. We're gonna see more Yoru West side. This is gonna be great, and obviously we see the Waylay from FUT because this is obviously needed. But more on this game with our lovely caster, Volt. Morgan, it's to you.
Vitality versus ULF ended rather quickly. We've seen a quick 2-0 coming in from Vitality, showing so much display of talent and extremely well-sided game from them. I'm Morgan, and I'm right here, lucky enough to be with my lovely co-commentator Volt, and we're about to witness a second best of 3 coming in here from Giant X going against Team Footballist Esports. Both of these teams, they do have a name for themselves, and Volt, I think this year we're about to witness should be a little bit better than the best one.
Hey, it should be, right? It's closer on paper, of course, but there's a Turkish fan base that might be a little bit demoralized if both teams end up being sent into the lower bracket here today, and that is looking like more and more of a realistic possibility. Something that I'm pretty sure FUT doesn't want to be the case, but Giants X has absolutely proved themselves to be a force to be reckoned with ever since Westside especially switched to the Yoru, which I feel like MP and Kamkok talk about in net. Like, they have been absolutely ridiculous in terms of the amounts of flexibility that they have. They're bordering on what I've seen from Vitality, right? Where everyone can do borderline anything. Westside is filling a bit of that Jamppi role. I would say the one knock on Giants is most likely that their open prowess isn't going to be as solid as it would be from the other side.
Yeah, lots to discuss here in the composition as well, because we do have double duelists going in from both sides, except that it's Yoru on one side and Waylay on the other for both teams. Fade is also here, Viper is also here, and it's Brimstone. So essentially, we're speaking about an identical team composition. Now, what this highlights is that it doesn't matter which side you're on, it doesn't matter what agency you have, it matters who has the better execution when it comes down to these two compositions. I might be a little bit worried for Team Footballist on this map though, despite the fact that it is their choice. I think Giant X starting on defenders should be able to get a few rounds, because of course it is much easier to defend on bind than it is to raise havoc on this map. And again, 5 ghosts coming in from Giant X. Minoan Footballist went with the, let's say, more on the util side. Eventually leads to them having better firepower, except that Zeus is able to take down 2 kills before falling down. And now the number advantage is definitely in Giant X's side as Cloud shoots his 4th kill. And is now away one more shot from landing that ace. Denied by Yojay, but Flickless says, I got you, buddy. And GX take the first round already.
Yeah, Jay can try as he might, but Cloud has already won the round for Giants. And we've seen that from Vitality earlier on today, where this one team had the individuals and the tactics. Footballists, you know, they're supposed to be the household name in Turkish Valorant. They're the first team in, the team that everybody expected to be the most successful BBL, even in 2025. It's completely abandoning the Turkish identity. And look where BBL is now. You know, they got the golden generation. Footballists, of course, to recuperate, as we've said, like with a couple of pieces back in the team. They think that they can do the magic, and I gotta say, like, Zeus is definitely the real deal, but right now, FUT still suffering in terms of firepower, unable to test the Flickless initially, but with Crustody finding that kill, this suddenly could become pretty dangerous on the other side.
Now I need to make sure that they're aware that now Raxus does have a Bulldog in his hand. And they're also aware that they lost Flickless. That's one controller down, but they still have the smokes coming in from Gravino. I believe that it should be an easier round for GX because luckily they kept their smoker. Now the Viper walls are stood up. Of course, the URJ side, and Viper does lots and lots of wonders for whichever team has her alive. When it comes down to the wall coming on demand and endless smokes and endless poison orbs that quite have no counterplay. You can get them up when you want, you can close them when you want, to set up the perfect timing with good communication. It should be easy, but now E2 misses his first shot, and that should be easier for Ara to secure the kill. Luckily, Raxus still has his Bulldog, so he's able to take down West Side as well, and they already know that Ara has been in showers for quite some time now. 30 seconds on the timer, but Footballists should be able to plant that spike without any issues, and GX have one of each to try to retake. You've got Borbini on the smokes, Cloud on the initiator, and Ara with the entries to perhaps ease this retake for you.
Main position of Menace.
I'll look behind you.
Giants doing pretty well. The trade so far by FUT. Gravinia holds for the one. And Karax is trying to hold it all down. He's fought the shoulder, finds the kill. It's back-to-back quad kills, and FUT steal away at Thrifty.
Yeah, I guess I told you had to watch out for Rax's Bulldog. That player is definitely a little bit scary, specifically when he's given more and more weapons, and I guess he needs to have more respect given to him by Giant X here because he speaks and his crossplay placement are from outside this world. Given a Bulldog in early, donated to him by Flickless if I wasn't mistaken, because I'm pretty sure that he did not buy that one. I think he caught it on. I have to see the replay to catch it up where he had it, but it depends on his credits as well. And a Thrifty round coming in from Footballist again tells you that they're more than ready for blind. I might have been proven wrong already when I said the Giant X should have the easiest half coming in from defending in bind. Goes the double dash from Rax, is able to take down one person, but now doesn't want to go back despite the fact that he's had multiple chances, but he knows that URJ has his back, and now it's 5 versus 3 and they have the size to their own again. Footballist's quick entries are not answered by Giant X in any shape or form.
FUT has been doing some wonders here, of course. It's a lot easier when the firepower is not working in your favor, but Cloud, seen him do magic before with the pistols, only on a classic this time. Should be a lot easier, but still significant damage done by GX. Just one more kill would be enough to call that round a win, but they keep the majority of their rifles on the side of FUT. I'm gonna be pretty happy about that one. 2 rounds on the board, stability for the Turks. Now, the game of the ultimate start rolling. Cloud, the first man into that number 8, but Rax is only 1 away from finding his own conversion paths.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried right now if I was Giant X because... Sorry, if I was Footballist, because Giant X now has an easier chance of winning this round because they have a full artillery, but you look at Footballist roster and they also have a full artillery, so... I might have actually said it correctly back then. Why did I even have to fix myself? Actually, I wouldn't be worried if I was Giant X, because Footballist has a full roster on him now, but Cloud does have his ultimate ready. Grabin was 1 point away from that Orbiter Strike, and Fallen, on the other hand, is extremely far away from it. Orbiter Strike does wonders in bind. So many places to use that. You can use it in showers, you can use it on the window on B, you can use it on site, you can use it on so many spots. And so many corridors have no way out if you use the Orbiter Strike. So you either force them to commit, or they get deep fried. So there are not so many options here for Team Footballist, specifically if Giant X decides to commit with the Orbiter Strike in that round. Oh, hello. I love your makeup. Looking pretty nice. Looking very cute. Hopefully ready for today's matchup, Mrs. Fade. Lovely day to you too. Chocolate.
Yeah, of course, you know, like... It would be great, you know, national glory and all. I'm not the biggest fan of the makeup, but you know, the edge is definitely fun, you know. She's not a Viper kind of edgy. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of scared of Viper now more than anything after the cinematic. But I guess that GX might be scared of that round. It comes to a complete freeze. Wait, why is nobody moving?
I have no clue. But I think it might be re-rolled. That's why people were standing still in their positions. And I'm pretty sure that this was a tick issue coming in from them. Otherwise, we wouldn't really be getting a cameo from Mrs. Trade here, but it appears to be a tick issue, and now production is going to be handling this as fast as possible as usual. And it seems that it is confirmed is going to be a round re-roll. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the tick issue was, but I'm sure that production is going to be getting it fixed as soon as possible. And again, Footballist, going back into the game, they have proven worthy in so many matches when it comes to Bind as a map in whole. Head-to-head history, Footballist, they led their records against Giant X because in so many spans of meeting during VCT 2024 and EMEA Stage 2, they all three resulted in Footballist victories, including the most recent, which was almost a year ago on the 30th of July at the 2025 VCT EMEA Stage 2. Footballist won that 1-1. So technically, Footballist has been leading every single head-to-head against Giant X. Now, they kind of began the series on July 30th on VCT EMEA Stage 2, was losing the first map, then taking Haven and Bind to close the series decisively. And I am guessing that GX should have had time to lick their wounds. They won. They went against that roster so many times. They didn't win. They went against that roster multiple times, but Footballist has been victorious every single time. Will they be able to break that chain, or is Footballist still in the lead with a 4-0 after this series? I guess only GX can answer that question for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's two different rosters between 24 and 25. 24 was the one that had Hoodie, it had Famcy, it had Purpo. The 2025 one with the exact same roster as this year. But it is a little bit surprising that even in triple elimination of all things, we actually didn't even get them rolling into each other. Because that was the one thing that I feel like was a little bit unfortunate maybe for Footballist, because they would have probably had a favorable duel in that standing, but that's not what we get. Instead, we are back here to the drawing board, and as we said, like, it was a 2-1. I will say, yes, the third map was a little bit convincing. The ending of the series was good, but GX has been leveling up more and more come the time, and while they are, of course, a little bit underwhelmed in not making it to Santiago, they made it the champs. More teams usually make it to there, and right now, you know, of course, with only 3 teams making it through, it's them and Vitality, I feel, are the 2 teams that would be kicking themselves the most, not making it over towards there. GX still experimenting a lot, of course, still west side on the Yoru. Usually, I would want to see a Yoru AWPing, or at least someone AWPing on the defense, but the finances are just not there yet. The Nightfall is ready, though. Conversion path, as we've said, Rax is only 1 orb away from getting that Waylay ultimate himself, and also the Nightfall and Crystal.
Yeah, looking for an operator in this economy might not be the best option. In this economy? Also, according to recent trends, I think predictions should favor Giant X. They've been very consistent, let's say. Their form has been very well so far, and they opened this Clash campaign with a clean 2-0 over Stallions, so technically Giant X have been looking very, very present in the past few matches, and they have been extremely consistent again. West side, however, decides to shoot that Euro clone, which has been an obvious bait for him. Now they know that B-Long is free for the taking, but the Viper wall is going to be putting a lot of effort on delaying them here, and another small forwarding from Grabinho, and this is why the Viper and Brimstone combo is so annoying to play against. Traded Fate ultimates here for both of the teams, but must have fallen, takes down Grabinho on west side, only shortly follows him, and that's the entry for Raxus.
Well, the Tati rate as well finds the value. FUT decimate the ranks on the side, layer by layer. It's like an onion. They've left GX crying off the back of that one. Now the Romania is the only thing that stands between them and that Flawless. They already got Hookah on lock. As you can tell, Crostally holding that line of sight. They even got Long, and Ara got no other option but just to leave and run away. And it seems like FUT will continue their series of domination against GX. Usually, you would think a lot of people would probably put Giants up top, right? Like when they were putting power ranking, I think people would put GX as a mid-table team, maybe a team that can be a dark horse. FUT is in the lower end of the spectrum, but just stylistically, they clash so badly for GX and so well for FUT. As you can tell there, Senior Fallen is able to find one more. So the Flawless is confirmed. All the guns gone from GX, and maybe now is the time to just slow down the pace a little bit for GX. I'm not a fan of that hero rifle, because that are the funds that they can probably use to get them up into round 6 onwards.
Yeah, 3 wins for Footballists definitely pay off. Again, you're playing on the harder side of this map, so taking as many rounds in attacking side will assure you that you're doing better when it comes to the side switch. 3 Sheriffs, 1 Vandal, and 1 Classic is not seeming so well for Team Giant X, specifically when they have suffered to win maps where rounds where they've had more and more weapons in their artillery, but recent form has been looking very consistent from Giant X. Head-to-head history should have been an advantage for Footballers Esports, and economy also seems to be an advantage for them as well. The shots also get added to the list, because Grabino falls down, and now you lost you lost your Viper, you lost your Brimstone, you have no more smokes to try and retake this round with. And retaking Bind with no smokes is just diabolical, mate. Now you only have Ara left with a Vandal and a Dream. I don't think he's getting any chances against 5-star players from Football. Still alive. Maybe takes down 1, maybe takes down 2 at most, but once your position is compromised, it's gonna be hard to close this round out. So it's safe to announce it's a 4-1 for Footballist already.
Mind you, FUT ended up their running kickoff 0-3. Not even a single win on the board, of course. You gotta put a context into those games. They played against Gentle Maze, the team that went on to make the win to the middle bracket. They played against Fnatic, the team that pretty much everyone thought that they would be the 3rd seed. But were upset by Liquid, who definitely Nats called a masterclass over Boaster. And then in the lower bracket, they faced KC in round 1. And they didn't find that much. And, well, I guess right now, this is a course correction. The bottom half of EMEA is definitely a tussle. Anyone can beat anyone any given time of day, but with that siege, it's just so easy for FUT to understand the equation. And just like the round prior, just speeding back the round layer by layer, right? It's not like they're taking all the duels at once. And neither are GX taking the duels at once as well. Like, you can tell, like, there are 3 separated players from GX, each of them taking a different duel. This is much more like it, but instead Rax just deletes them all. It's a collateral on the 2. And Gabinho only good for a single kill. Luckily, Flickless gets something back for the team, and that was supposed to be another kill. Westside survived, but Yetege keeping the lead for FUT. And now it's the AWP that remains, the sole player on 2. Back to the B slot he goes. It is the right choice, but they can still TP and walk away if they want to. And with that Westside taking an aggressive position, he might not even get a chance for an easy one-on-one.
Yeah, Footballist is not the team to give you the 1v1s, and they're definitely not the team to give you the 1v1s when they know you have an operator and they still have the Poison Orb on Yetege's side. Okay, Cross Alley takes the peek, had Yetege right behind him. Lots and lots of shots here. They don't even want that AWP. They tell them, we're not going to be playing open attacking. We just want to be taking these easy kills. Lots and lots of firepower coming for him. Maybe a tactical pose can be helpful here for Giant X because they seem to be a little bit lost. They only won 1 round ever since this game started, and 5 wins back-to-back on Footballist roster. It didn't matter who had more ultimates. It didn't matter who had better weapons. It didn't matter who had more utility. Still, Footballists came out on top every single round, and that's because they traded each other better, showing us almost a very similar highlight gameplay, just like the one that we've seen from Vitality versus Team ULF in the past series. And yes, thank you. A timeout that is definitely needed. 5 wins back-to-back should have not been the thing. Now...
Well, it is exactly what we're talking about, right? Even the information is like, yeah. Like, yeah, FUT always seems to get the better GX, whatever iteration of the team that they have, but I do agree. This is the 2nd time that those 2 cores collide. Because you gotta remember, just because the names of the orgs are the same doesn't mean that the rosters are the same. This is a very different GX, one that I'll say didn't do too badly in champs, but I'll say it as someone that follows China immensely. Don't let XLG's international performances be a metric for the level of China, 1. 2, for teams to be good or bad, because XLG are just not really that successful internationally. So it wasn't that difficult for Giants to find a win against the Chinese champs, but at the end of the day, against FUT, it's a very different ballpark. GX now switched up their play to a double stack on Garden, and Shower is taken by Westside. Of course, their buy is weaker, so they'll have to rely on stacks and hopefully getting a drop on FUT, which might be Garbinio's ticket to a first blood.
Yeah, I guess. Coming in for Footballists here, this should be an easy round. Again, you still have the firepower advantage. And now getting baited by that recall timer on. Rax is as usual. Orbital Strike has again committed by Felon in this round. Shows you that they fear GX's eco rounds and they have to shut down their clutch situation, specifically after a timeout, because a timeout mostly is meant for 2 things. as a coach, you want to make sure that the momentum is still up, and you want to make sure that they have the right neutral mindset for this round. And second is to break momentum from the enemy team winning, even if you say nothing during that timeout tactical-wise, but just giving your team morals up and giving them a raise morale is enough to win that round. So, as footballists, it's perfectly fine to commit an orbital strike in a round that is economy. And economically better for you, because you still want to break down GX's effect from that tactical pause. Flawless round, beautifully orchestrated. You gotta make sure that the timeout has no effect on them at least. And you're still maintaining a 6-round win streak in a map that is heavily defender-sided and no one will object. So, footballists are cooking. And it's seemingly good.
I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing to cook, it's another to absolutely just have the perfect read in your opposition. And I feel like GX, they feel like they're bankrupt at this point. Right? They try different things on both the pistols, the Thrifties, the buy rounds. None of it seemed to work, and we might have, unfortunately, another tech pause. Guys, this is my ass spot right now. I'm gonna take it over. This is EMEA, okay? This is the tech pause region. This is prime sponsor segment position. Just get your ad in here. I'm gonna chill that one out. You're most likely not gonna have a better time as being that tech pause sponsor for any other league.
Yeah, I'm guessing that there is another tech pause coming in here again. So, I'm not sure whose side is it on. I'm not sure who's suffering from these tech issues, but I'm hoping that this does not affect their mental. And it has to not. Because again, coming in from a round, whether you're winning 6 rounds back-to-back or you're the one that is losing 6 rounds back-to-back, in order to come back from this, or in order to maintain this, you still need to have the mental fortitude of a monk in order to be able to continue, because overheating can lead to issues, tilting can lead to issues. So regardless, whoever has the technical tech issues, they should get it solved ASAP, and hopefully they're working on it. Production will keep updating us. Are we re-rolling rounds again? Are we continuing as is? Are we gonna go with this one round? All these questions will be answered, don't worry. You can use this time to grab snacks or do whatever you want, because this series is seemingly gonna be taking to a long fight between both of them. Again, this is a perfect chance for the redemption arc between Giant X and Team Footballist. You have not won against them once in the past 2 years of competing against the same roster. Bind is one of Footballist's best performing maps, so if you're able to take at least Bind from them or perform in it, you're able to tell them that in this series we do have a chance of coming back, we do have a chance of competing against you. But if Footballist takes that one in the first map, guessing it might not be the best end for Giant X, and the script might just be going as it has been for the past few times they met Volt.
And here's the thing though, like, you know, you say all that, and then you look at the game, 6-1 for FUT, pretty much a one-sided affair so far in the bind. And, you know, given the veto that we did actually have, it is a little bit surprising because, of course, this was picked by Footballist. You would think that they will be able to, of course, win the map outright. But when you pick defense, there has to be a game plan. We're not really seeing much of a game plan. It's just a team that is trying to anchor, take the fights. There aren't as many... I'd say there isn't much depth to the defense that we're seeing here from Giants. And usually against some other teams, they can shoot their way out. But against the Turkish players, it never really is an easy thing to do. So now this puts them in a difficult position in terms of where they actually go from here. They're down so bad, and they kind of really need to get the ball rolling. They got the AWP out on West Side this round. But the thing that we have seen, even before the round rolled back, was how, I don't even want to say scared, but they were very cautious, right? They didn't take on any aggressive duels. They're not playing that tug of war. And I feel like that's something that is so necessary on the bind. That even when you're on the defense, you need to poke the attack a little bit. You need to find your pockets of space. Usually when it's AWPers, you see them posted at short. Preferably showers is the place that they will most likely be at. And we haven't really seen that from GX. They haven't really done much prodding. Even the smokes that they put on B long, they don't really capitalize upon it. Usually Garden is an easy concession for the attack.
Yeah, luckily enough though, you still have so long to reflect back on what's been happening so far, GX. And again, we're rolling that last round. So we're back to 6-1. We're back to both of them having full-on artillery. And we are back to them having operator on west side corner again. 2 ultimates coming in from U2J and Raxes as well. While you have Ara's ultimate to match that one. Now, they have not used Gorbinho's ulti once so far, so you still have the Orbital Strike coming in here for the Brimstone. At his demise, and you still have the Stim Beacon to make rotations a little bit faster. I would not try peek that, knowing that they had an operator. At least punish it with a Prowler first, so you know it's safe to rotate. Lots of time has already been gone from this Tim Beacon, so it's safe to say, as soon as they use this ultimate, coming in here, you should be pushing immediately. And there goes the classic bind clip with tons of utility used on it. And by the way, skills and utility.
That's a fake. Yeah, that's already a fake.
We're already in vain. Thank you. Because it's a fake for Footballist anyways.
As Garbinio's ultimate's gone, flickless. Tried his best to find anything. The conversion path is so good. It shuts down the ultimate in half, but Aura couldn't capitalize. The operator shut down. GX still finding 2 off the back of that, but the Viper is not one of the casualties. So the pit is still high in the middle of that site. The spike not planted yet. Yetege goes for a peek. Mr. Fallen here, putting them down one by one. Is not going to be the case. Garbinio shuts it all down. It's the hand of Zeus, usually lightning fast. But this time, seems like the Armageddon is here. Ragnarok might be upon Footballist, as finally GX will be able to win one. I say that, Garbinio even does it better. It's a quad kill for the controller. And that's GX doubling their tally.
Yeah, now if you have one thing to announce, it is that you should not be faking against Giant X. The read on them for that one was beautiful. Westside has not been able to be useful so far on the operators. 1 kill in 8 rounds has not been the answer yet, so I don't think we need an operator on him for the rest of the match, at least up until now, because Footballist has been doing really well countering his operator, so get that man back on the Vandals. Thank you. Maybe able to do a few more damage to them now with the clones and everything, but Footballists have been really good with dealing with the operator so far, so I would change it, and so they did. One ultimate is ready from West Side, and the other is ready from Flickless. Viper Speed here is a little bit more crucial. 9 points on that one. Should be able to disable sides extremely quickly. And this was enough time for Yerajay to rotate now with the Poison Orb here in West Side. Knows that exactly he left this point right now because they're making sound on it, giving him the perfect chance to now rotate. Or maybe get a pick for him. And it could be the curtain's call for Team Footballist to enter B site. Because Giant X had 3 people rotate to that side already. They're checking showers. They know that nobody's there now but Cloud. If he dies here, that should be a free B side for Team Footballists. So he has to tread carefully.
But how deep is the Yetege position, though? You're not going to expect the player to be that close up. They're expecting them to peek into them, but now that they've recessed a bit, they're allowing the pressure to be invited. The Auro Flash doesn't do much. The Saturate should find the value, but it's Cloud from the Veil, the only one to find a kill. And Football is shut down initially. The trades are good, and Westside just decides to leave the site open. And now GX left in a 3-on-3. Interdimensional Drift comes in at the right time. Garbinio again to be the hero. Mr. Fallen got the support of Crostally, and they all both be taken down. That is crisp shooting from Westside. A transfer of dreams. And GX transition from defeat to victory.
I told you, soon as someone doesn't work on the operator, get them back on the Vandal. Get them back on the Phantom. Let them start shooting. Specifically, if it's a player that has util for himself like Westside. That flash was beautiful. Coming out from tunnels, he assessed the situation correctly. He knew that his team had the numbers advantage, but as soon as it became a 3v3, he knew that if he stayed right there, they're feeling themselves. Might be a little bit hard to deal with them going into sight, so why not fall back, wait for the team, wait for my Riftwalks to come back up again, and try to maybe hold the side better as one. So I'm actually able to trade someone off if I die, or vice versa. So him going back from that side might have seemed like a weird call at the start, but he's been able to get it perfectly done. He bought time. He knew that he should have been back on time. And when he returned, it was time for him to actually be able to dominate against Team Footballers going into that side, making sure that they regret their entry. And now you still have the operator on Zeus, which I think might not be the best idea because Giant X have not been peeking any angles so far. So operator against that team again, when we specifically just highlighted that any slow round that has happened in this half was a victory for Giant X. They're just better at rotating. They're just better at holding corners. Again, at a map like Bind, you don't want to waste too much time before going into sites, especially not against.
I feel like that's what FUT are trying to counter, though. Like the opposite, the perfect thing to peak those minimal margin rounds, but Cloud has made another judgment call. Last time around, it was defensive from Westside. An off angle by Cloud. He peeks in, lines them up. It's a double for the Giants. Yet Zeus able to trade one well, even spots the next left on 20 HP, but he's able to survive in the end. So it goes back to a 4-on-3, and while they do not have hookah, any victory in any of those extremities would do wonders for the attack. The problem is, time is against them, but with that opener from Fallen, suddenly this game is very different. They need to spend their short, and that opens up the angle for the Viper Spit. Mr. Fallen identified, low HP on the Yoru, but the Brimstone is even better, and they're flanking them from short. They are none the wiser on that call. Fallen now alerted by the blind side, and West Side trying to use another flash in. One playing for the anti, both play close. The flash should catch them both, yet they still find the kill anyways. A turn, a kill, and yet to be the hero for FUT.
Lovely round, despite the fact that it took longer way than it should have, in my opinion, from Footballists. Delaying rounds until the end always has proven to be on Giant X's side, but again, you kind of wanted them to get out of their comfort zone. You kind of wanted them to start making mistakes before you start advancing, and it was proven to be worthy against them. Now, Cloud lost his patience. He peaked, but that was a mistake, Footballist. He made them peak. So getting off 2 kills here was really worth it. Mr. Fallon also sprayed from the smoke here for not really that much of added value. Pushing the Viper Spit was a crazy idea by him, but it eventually paid off. And if I'm not mistaken, he still has his Orbiter Strike ready up for next round, so just gonna take the win. We're gonna thank Kirche for it, because we also still have the Orbiter Strike, and of course, the ultimate from the Fade to make it a little bit easier for Team Footballists, whether on post plan to prevent a retake, or from the Orbiter Strike to clean up a corner and maybe enter with it. Because last time it was used from Footballist, it was a fake. I'd rather not see that. The Orbiter Strike is really strong when it comes to post plan or clearing corners, so let's rely on that one, shall we?
I like that from GX though, even though that they know that the AWP is out there. They're entrenching in difficult duels. Like Cloud playing the headshot angle, something that is usually difficult, could be caught by the Hinder, indeed he is, but oh, that is the beauty of a couple of shots, and then Westside plays the pick and roll. They are moving like prime GSW there. And now at least FUT, with their tail behind their back, having to rotate over again into the A site. They found so much success at the back of Mr. Fallen. And he spotted the angle on the one, but Flickless should have no problem installing. I say that. FUT have found lamps, and the Viper, the Snakebite is not going to take that time to really stop them from planting if they want to do so. They're just waiting to absorb the util. 20 seconds on the timer, and it's a 5-on-3, but FUT got a real chance here at lamps.
I guess the spike is already planted. It's safe to announce that now Raxus, if he's not able to get that kill, it might be a disaster for Team Giant X, actually, because they just took 3 people for not a single trade. Westside is still alive, so maybe their chances are up, but I've seen this before. He flashes, and it's a 1v1 between him and Raxus. Westside lost the last clutch. This should be the time to redeem himself, but no! Yerajay wins it against him once, and so does Raxus against him right now. And Footballists are still in the game. One more round away from ending it, maybe with a 9-3 on the first half.
And it's looking very likely to be the 9-3. That was another round that was just explosive from FUT. Maybe too little too late to take the time out here for GX, honestly speaking. A 4th round is a boon for sure. They got the orbital strike to play to the back of it. 2 orbs remaining for Westside. And if I am GX, I think I'm looking at that, and that is what I am going to basically have as the anchor of my entire planning. If I am GX here, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Like, Pipson is a very smart coach. He's taking a very young group of players, though. And I gotta say, like, not age that can be a factor. For the most part, it doesn't really affect them mechanically. If anything, like, players are in their prime in that kind of age that GX players are in. But it's the nerves, more than anything. The hot-headed nature that some of those players can have on the side of GX that have costed them a few of those rounds. And in there, FUT was just perfect. Those 3 duels that GX should have at least have 2 of those 3. And then it would have been a done game. But it's those small mistakes that are done by GX. FUT just takes that inch and they run away with a mile. The economy broken for Giants. And now, the best thing that they can do, as I said, play for Westside, give him the orbs, maybe play for a later round. And GX are aware of that, which is why they double down on Garden again. They don't want to give away an orb for free. They are only leaving Showers as the one sole open point of contact. But with their weaker fire, with their weaker utility, they're not going to be able to sit there and just anchor an angle forever.
I find it a bit strange that you decide to call a timeout 1 round before the half ends, though. Specifically, that you just use one. And it did result in you winning 2 rounds back-to-back. So essentially, timeouts have been proven worthy for Giant X, so why waste it for 1 round? Yes, I understand that you don't want to activate the 9-3 curse. I also understand that you don't want to have too much of a gap between the rounds, because if essentially it ends in 8-4, and let's say this timeout wins you the round, if you secure the pistols after the side swap, you should be able to get at least 2 rounds deficiency from 5. So differentiality in the round number here. Oh, what a word. Makes it a little bit hard for Team Giant X here, but
Calculus, yeah, Calculus Dual 1, I feel like is the class that we've stumbled into here.
Yeah, I managed to choose one word that was apparently not too hard for my tongue to say. What am I saying, bro? What is this guy? Alright, allow me to reset really quickly. Now, Nicholas is able to take down Zeus. Fallen has an orbital strike, and as you said, this is it. This should be the wake-up call for Team Footballist to entry now, and you still lost 2 players. 2 of the most important, actually. A duelist and an initiator. The orbital strike is going to delay them, but it should be not enough. Footballist will still be able to plan this one off Volt.
Yeah, the saturate is so valuable. Yetije crumbling them down piece by piece. The body shot spray. He's not even hitting the heads. Jigs are not shooting back at all. It's 9-3, and courtesy is there for FUT. They've played an amazing game, but the GX have gone missing.
Yeah, they didn't even need to use Fallen's orbital strike for that one. Or was I mistaken? Because I'm pretty sure it was Grubs trying to delay their plant. And I got a side switch. And then this happens. Now it's a 9-3, and it's Footballist on the defense side. I would be a little bit worried if I was Giant X, because again, defender's side is definitely the easier side to play this map on, specifically if it was your choice. And we've seen this happen so many times, by the way. A team picks their own map. The enemy team, of course, is not going to be giving them the easier side, but as a team that plays on a map like Bind, you know it's heavily defender-sided, you probably might be a little bit too prepared on the attacking side, because you know you're never going to get defender side on your map that is definitely good on it. So, pistol rounds are not something you can negotiate here, Giant X. You have to win them. You have to win them.
I mean, if Westside is playing to its usual level, that would be such a different game, but to FUT's credit, really, they figured out the weak point, and I gotta say, one of the most important things for me, I know that not a lot of people like that kind of call, but if I know that there's a weak point in the map and I'm the IGL, I'm gonna keep hammering that weak point until it breaks. And Footballist did just that. They realized that A-Short was weak. They realized that Flickless wasn't having the best of games, and they kept exploiting that one. How many times have we seen Mr. Fallen just eat up an angle? And now double digits are looming. A bigger presence on B is actually A site, where Giants are going to be starting from. Utility is there. The Euros rotate is a bit defensive, and that means that maybe Yetije try to fish for something in the other angle, but the rotations are coming in for the side of FUT. And Zeus and Fallen entrench themselves in showers, so they want to at least keep that half of the site. But if you look at it, both the Brimstone and the Viper use their utility. They know where they're coming from, a necessary tool to win, and at least they keep some presence in showers with it.
I have to watch out if I was Giant X now, because you're planting in a spot that is easily countable. Because you have 3 people coming in from showers, and Massacre is about to be done here in the showers. They both, take a small break to reload. Hold on. I think I dropped my weapon right here. Oh, must have been the wind. Another shot comes in here from Fallen. And Cloud and Westside are only left alive right now in order to try and protect that spike. But they have no util on them at all. You're relying on one thing right now, your aim duels. You're heavily outnumbered, probably outgunned, but never mind, I take it back. They somehow, with 0 util, turn it into a 2v1, and I don't think Hiroj has enough time to defuse that spike. What just happened here again, Footballist? This was a 2v4 and they had 0 util on him. This should have not been a round that was possible for Team Giant X to take, but somehow they did it, and somehow they're off to an amazing start when it comes to the second half.
It's really beautiful from the side of GX to... I found that one, and I really gotta say, like, credit to Westside. Whenever he shows up, GX feels a lot more dangerous, but if the Oro is not gonna consistently find that value, they're gonna be without Fangs. As you can tell, right there from that stat, FUT is a unit. Like, you can even tell the reflection of it on the scoreboard. The gap isn't that big. Sure, you can see like 15 on ETJ and 7 on Zeus, and you think, hey, that's a big gap. But actually, no, the pack is so tight. And that is because they play for the trades. They play for the numbers. Even look at this round, right? It's the second round. The weaker buy, only thing that is an upgraded pistol outside of those classics is ETJ keeping the frenzy from the round prior. But they're playing that buddy system so well traditionally. The problem is ETJ this time could be getting caught off guard. Frenzy up close, loves that kind of range, and will be getting caught by the fake out. Now ETJ has got to be careful. Pivots into the other side, but there might be enough util for them to catch them off. Speaking of getting caught off, Flickless is found. They need to exploit from the site. ETJ finds the one, and it is West side that will bail Giants out again. They find 3. Rax and Mr. Fallen remain, but it's only a ghost. That's the best thing that they have for this fight.
Cloud has a Phantom on him, so it might be a little bit hard to clutch this one out, specifically when Grabenu was able to take down Fallen immediately. You're gonna need 2 shots with that ghost in order to take down Grabenu, because 1 headshot is not enough. And now it's a 5-9 for Giantex, but FUT does have enough weapons in their artillery, so does Fallen, getting very, very close to his Orbiter Strike right now. And you only have 1 Bulldog and 1 Guardian, but 3 ARs on Giantex's side, so on paper, FUT should have a way better gun game going into this round.
Right now, great position for GX to make the comeback from. They didn't lose really. I mean, they lost enough to make this round threatening in terms of their credits, but they'll still have enough for a buy anyways. So it is all about FUT and how much they can extract as value out of that one. The TP broken, and Aura got 0 value of the entirety of the Waylay kit. That is such a win for the defense, but now it's all about showers.
Yeah, 2 shots coming in from FUT. Zeus takes down Flickless and Grub. And again, losing both of your controllers at the start of the round has never been a good sign in my book. Because how can you enter sites right now? Specifically that you only have 1 more util to use. Let's say 2. Okay, you have the Haunt coming in from the Fade, and you have 1 more flash on West Side's hands. But you lost both of your smokers, and this is why you should never put 2 smokers in 1 corner, because if they die when you're attacking, you're just simply set for damnation now, because how can you enter a site without smokes? Too many corners to check, too many angles to cover. And I've seen Giantex win worse rounds. They just won a 2v4, so essentially it could be possible. Their gun game is no joke.
I've seen FUT though win rounds like these with ease, especially as a unit. Entrenching in lamps, even if they don't play the high-low, they just got the numbers in sight, right? And now the re-clear of lamps, getting caught by Zeus. It's a hat trick from him, and ETJ scores 1 more. And it is not Cloud9 for Giants, instead it's Cloud on 3. And he's gonna try to save the day. Peeks into lamps, there's a player already prepared, and Rax will not be able to stick through. At least not at the first line of asking. ETJ and Cross Tally supposed to save the round here. They pick 2 wide for the fade. And it is a nightmare indeed, as it's double digits confirmed for the Turks.
Double digits for FUT. Giantex have no more timeouts in their pocket. They're 3 rounds away from winning that one out, but I'm happy with GX's performance ever since the side witch and before it as well, because essentially this was a... How many was it? 6-1 game? So going from 6-1 to 8-5 or 9-5 was it? I cannot really remember, but it was a good start. It was a good side switch for Team Giantex so far. And again, all thanks to individuality, but Team FUT just seems to be better as a team overall again. Historically, we said this multiple times, and every time they've met, FUT came out victorious, but Giantex, they're looking way more prepared for this now. Also have the Fade ulti. Should be making it a little bit easier, specifically that Ara now has to go back because you forced him out. Gorgeous utility usage coming in here from Kostali. Protect his mate because you do not want to lose Yetoje as the first person to go down in that round.
Yeah, great work by both Caesars, really. And now an overinvestment of util in the TP. They're gonna regret using that saturate haphazardly. As now you look at GX, what they have. Yes, they got a Nightfall, but no more C's. Only the flashes and the incinerator from Garbinio. So they're trying to use West Side as a human drone, but this time they hold down Hookah. Oh, this is exactly how you play a bind. The tug of war played to a perfection. They pushed on long and then they pulled the plug out of the other part. And it's Cloud and Aura to try to overcome a 2-to-1 ratio. And while they have the site, time is an enemy. Kristali holding the retake, and if Aura is able to catch a drop on him, this is a very different round, but now with this information known, the player in the site should be very weak. They almost lined up. Fortunately enough, it shouldn't be a difficult round. Hindered, cleared. Kristali will be the ace for that one.
5-11. Again, YouTube usage from FUT is on the line for Team GX here. I still have to see Aura play Waylay a little bit more aggressively. I still have to see that double duelist composition serve him, if it ever will anyways. Bucky seems like the correct option here somehow, because maybe with the rushes you're able to get him down. And I think we have to see a little bit better of use from the refrag to get on these waylays, because I don't think Aura has been using them enough or correctly when it comes to entering so far. In defense side it was beautiful. Refrags definitely saved you a lot of times. Need to be making the plays, you need to be the one making the entries. We cannot keep losing Flickless and Grub at the start of the round. And there it goes. It's nice to use it. Bucky right now shoots one shot, but now he leaves his team without a duelist inside, and an Orbiter Strike is gonna be forcing them out of this window. And you get to lose 3 players for nothing. And they have the spike on the side as well. GX, I think that this one might be a little bit doomed. Yes, it is.
I mean, that was the perfect counter, right? Like, a lot of teams like to play after they execute and they flood in from spawn and elbow. But FUT, knowing that they got the orbital strike, entrenched themselves in backside, played their own util. That was perfect from Fallen. Messy from Zeus, and there's still a Bucky. I can find a little bit more damage, but not gonna be a trouble for Yatej. As a qual kill now for the Viper in totality. And Yatej has been farming. It's up to a tally of 23. We've really seen so many superstar level performances here in Clash, and I gotta say, like, for GX, they usually play like this. They usually play as a good unit, but Aura's just struggling ever since Clash started. He's not been looking his best self, and it's gonna be really important for GX that Aura feels comfort. They just might as well take him off the waylay if it's not gonna find the required success at this point.
One last round. One last round right now for Team Yatej already picks up 2 kills. It was always Grubs and Flick, now it's Grubs and West Side as well falling down, and now it's all down to Flickless and Aura. But they still have at least a shot taken from them from Zeus, but this might be it. Conversion paths also used from Aura to try and buy himself more time. But in a 1v3 situation, it seems to be extremely hard. Do you plan? Do you rotate? Somebody might be waiting for you in B-side, and look at the FUT rotations on the map. All of them stayed in base of Dimensional Drift coming in from Zeus. He knows exactly where he is, and he still has 4 util as well. This might be way too difficult for Aura. 2 ultimates fired against 1 person, of course. It's gonna be impossible to clutch as FUT take map 1 home. And it's a victory against GX in a map that has been very, very hard for GX to deal with. 13-5.
Well, from a Turkish heartbreak to now a Turkish ecstasy, as FUT have decimated Giants Egg. That is a dissection of a team that is usually so young, so promising, but they do not look their best selves here today. This is a much better look from the side of FUT. The team as a whole has been really good, and I gotta say, Rax coming back to the team have given them such stability. But the highlight for me for today has got to be Mr. Fallen. He's ever so consistent. That while Yatej, of course, is the shining beacon, I feel like Mr. Fallen was the silent heavy for the team, coming in clutch when they needed him. The impact frags that he's found, he really was the catalyst to their attack being as successful as it is. And then Yatej, I mean, not too much to be said. I feel like the scoreboard speaks for itself here.
First map taken down by FUT. Again, Giant Tech still have a lot to prove in this series. The redemption arc has to keep going on unless the story is going to be going as it has always been in FUT's favor. Thank you so much, Volt. I enjoyed being here with you, but now it is time to go back to KK and MP to tell us what happened in this game.
Thank you, Morgan and Volt. With this name, I feel like I'm becoming Kong Kong from China, so thank you. I take it very, very good. But yes, it was almost too easy for FUT to take down Giant X once again. What doesn't work?
I don't know. To me, I think where Giant X finally lost this map was round 10, round 11. They had twice in a row. They had 5 versus 3 situation. They lost both of those. And I think after that, Peepson taking that timeout on round 12. I think Morgan was actually questioning that timeout as well, but I think the reason for the timeout is found exactly on those 2 previous rounds where Giant X lost that 5 versus 3 advantage twice in a row. That's like the coach's nightmare, and will absolutely take a timeout to keep the feedback. I can imagine that feedback maybe not being that nice. I'm not sure what Peepson says there, but usually when you lose 5 versus 3 situations twice in a row, that's something that absolutely shouldn't happen. For Giant X, I think this is a new look, because usually their binds have been incredibly strong, even though they've lost all 3 of them, but those have been really, really close most of the time on OT against Gentlemates. It was 10 and 13. It wasn't just a different look. Maybe it was this composition. Maybe they weren't quite ready for to play with the Waylay. Maybe the setup wasn't there. I'm not quite sure.
It's hard to say exactly what went wrong in this match. One thing definitely that did not work is the double duelist. We've seen Westside be so impactful, but here actually we're missing Ara the same. So little kills. It was impossible for Giant X to set up anything. I think Volt talked about it a little bit at the end of the game, but Mr. Falling was definitely on point for this FUT roster. He really set up great things for the team and also was there on the scoreboard, so amazing work from him.
Yeah, and I feel like you hit the nail in the head there. The double duelist composition didn't quite work, especially on the attacking side. The West side, Aura, I think they had few decent plans where they would dive into lamps, but at that time there would have been FUT player there destroying the Yoru TP. That's where Aura has to instantly refract back, and that's the round gone pretty much, at least the round plan, and that's where FUT will take a lot of ground on the map when you've made some sounds on the other side. I think FUT was brilliant here, and like we talked about Yeto J at the start of this match, we kind of compared him to Westside. We pit them against each other. This time around it was Yeto J who was on top, and he's been consistent force throughout this tournament for FUT.
Definitely. It's very surprising because actually FUT played this map against KC a few days ago, and KC did not know a bind either. It was the first time they played it since the start of the year, and still it was pretty close. They actually lost 12-14, so FUT took the win, but by a little margin. And here against Giant X that actually already played the map, it's an even bigger gap. Yes, they're trying something new in regards of the composition, but we've seen Westside be so good, and Ara also have so much impact. It's very surprising that they lost in such a manner.
Yeah, but once again, who was the player on top when they played against Carmine Corp? It was Yeto J. It was Yeto J who hit the nail in the coffin on that last round as well, finding the double to start that last round on a 5 versus 3 situation, and from that place it's quite easy for FUT to close it. Mr. Falling, respect to his name as well, but for me it's Yeto J time and time again where we have to look at this player. What is he doing right all the time? Just getting these kills, gaining huge impact for the team with this Viper on bind and different agents on different maps. I mean, obviously it's gonna be a different map coming up in a little bit. That's gonna be Haven, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't have any more words about Yeto J. He's just incredible.
I think another player that actually performed really well is Kirax, because with KC, he actually really struggled with the Waylay, didn't have a lot of impact, but here he was much more present, he has done a lot more damage, also taking 3 first kills, so it was much more impactful for the team. I think maybe starting to get back into the energy of this team, but it was very pleasant to see him actually perform this time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cracks taking that small break, everyone thinking Cracks will be gone for the whole of 2026 since the announcement was made, but now he's back on the roster, and judging from the viral news segment, I'm imagining Cracks is back for the VCT season as well, pending Riot approval. But I'm glad to see that he is on top of his game, especially with this Waylay. He's known for the KO meta, but KO hasn't been in meta for so long. So I'm happy to see that Cracks has been able to adapt onto different agents as well.
Yes, completely. I think it's a good thing for the team, and yeah, there was absolutely nothing to do in this game for retakes. I think the momentum from FUT since the beginning was completely in their favor. As you said, they gained 6 rounds in a row. retakes was not able to do anything. They did get some rounds here and there, but only 3. And it was just not enough. And FUT were very aggressive. The retakes player were never able to save their weapon, so it was just pure carnage on the map every time on the side of FUT. I mean, very Turkish of them to do that. I hope for them that this continues on Haven, because let's maybe talk a little bit about this next map. So this map also has not been played that much by retakes, although they did won against Team retakes, so this is at least a good sign, because Team retakes are not a bad team.
Absolutely not, but something that retakes has to fix for this upcoming map of Haven is that they kind of look disjointed in those executes. Obviously, FUT being on top of that game, having the knowledge of where retakes is, kind of forcing retakes' hand with on round 17, that was orbital strike, but still just you have to take a grasp of this game. You have to forget that previous map and remember that this is a whole new map. It's a map that FUT hasn't played too much this year. They've only played it once against Karma and Corp. That was nearly a month ago, like 3 weeks ago. They could maybe switch up to a different composition. They do love their Waylay, so I don't think FUT is gonna switch the composition. On the side of retakes,
they do love it.
Yeah, they absolutely do. On the side of retakes, I think it's interesting to see that they actually run the veto here. I'm keen to see whether they're gonna experiment to a different composition here, or if they're gonna keep this same look that they kept in the kickoff stage. Obviously played only one official, but that was kind of successful against Team retakes, like you said.
Yes, and also it's interesting to note that they're actually the only team to run the veto on Haven. It's not meta at all. They're the only one who thought this could work, and against Team retakes it did work. So this maybe could also work against FUT, although I think the comp is a bit different on the side of FUT, because Team retakes are running this heavy double duelist almost all the time, and on the side of FUT it's a bit more defensive on the Haven, so it could bring a different result with the veto, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of global markets, there's only 2 other teams that run this composition in Haven, and yeah, they are the only one in VCT EMEA to run veto on Haven. It's an interesting composition. To me, it's an out of meta composition. I do love this because it kind of makes you create your own sense of look on the game. You know, you have to create your own strats. It kind of creates your own bubble in the game, in a sense that other team has to adapt to a different style of game. I'm sure FUT has faced against this Teho composition in scrims as well, but still, when you don't see a certain composition that often, it is harder to adapt and harder to know exactly what are the nuances to playing against that composition.
Yes, definitely. I think we're gonna have the answer pretty soon, but it's gonna be not that easy for retakes, I think, to come back into the game, because this is a different tournament with some kind of fun with the brackets that intertwine, and also you're here to test and adapt. There is no impact on the VCT journey, so if it's the end of the tournament almost and you lost 5-13, you have to find that competitive spirit that all players have, and there is some changes then.
Yeah, I mean, they go away from the Veto, but they go away from the Viper as well. Yeah, for the side of FUT, I actually missed that. What?
They said no to the Waylay. What happened, guys?
Damn, I completely missed that. I was fully focused on the side of Giant X, but I'm happy to see these changes. They are experimenting, and this is what we are here for.
Yes, this is gonna be one entertaining games, and our caster Volten Morgan will be able to tell a little bit more about this composition. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Conquat, and thank you, MP, for that one. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty intriguing one. I always love to see the Killjoy here in the Haven. I think that the lockdown has such value, especially on the attack. So I'm not really too fussed about that. But yeah, I agree. Giants X have thrown everyone, including myself, for a loop. It's been really quite a while ever since I've seen a Cypher composition here on the map.
Yeah, Cypher has been long overdue, I think, and so has Killjoy been on maybe Haven. Most players have been playing a little bit more aggressive, just like the Haven we saw from the past 3 on maybe Chambers on both sides, because you do need additional firepower when you switch to attacking side for that map. But essentially having Cypher is really good, because it's a Waylay and Jet meta. It's a Neon meta. You need someone to shut down these quick entries. You need someone to shut down these quick dashes. Yes, of course, the traps have been buffed and nerfed so many times, but Cypher still does maintain some good advantage. Why? Because he's an agent that has not been played on this map for quite some time now. So essentially, maybe the teams haven't gotten really used to in order to counter him. Because if you play with the classic comps, you kind of have the setup for these. This is what they have trained for in the scrims and everything. So playing Cypher, he's a double-edged sword. He's an agent that still has his ultimate, which basically gives you information on everyone on the map at your due in only 7 points. And in a meta where we have 4 ultimates with 9 points, and rest of the game's ultimates, almost like more than 50% of the ultimates go on 8 points, 7 points is good. It's fine. Phoenix being the only agent that has his ultimate right now in 6 points. Cypher used to be on that list, so he's getting a little bit nerfed. But 1 ultimate point doesn't make that much of a huge deal. You can still maybe see 3 or even 4 Cypher ultimates in 1 half. Depends on how good he is performing. But I find it weird that we dropped Curax's off the Waylay, specifically after he just made a massive performance on that agent.
But I think it leans into what FUT wants to do, right? If they're playing with that kind of composition, most likely you would see them leading more and more into the slower pace of things. And I feel like the slower pace makes a lot of sense with the Killjoy as well. It takes a little bit of a while to set up the nano swarms, and the nano swarms are so good for slight takes. And I feel like people forget that. Like, all Sentinels give something, right? Like, the Chamber, as he said, gives the extra firepower, the leeway of basically being a pseudo-duelist at times. The Killjoy gives nearly unlimited flank watch with the Sentry, and then the Nano Swarms for the Execute. Cypher is the freest of all the Sentinels on attack. The guy just puts 2 trips, and he gets to play whatever he wants to do. He can lurk, fish for frags. I mean, internationally, I feel like the most notorious Cypher in the entire world right now have got to be Volkashoot of DRG. And while the team is kind of built around his Cypher, he's so successful in his fragging that I wouldn't be too fussed about that one. But I would be fussed if the Cypher does actually not find the required fragging output. I feel like that's something that 2 teams will need to rely upon as their fragging. And Giant X were caught lacking on the bind. They're caught lacking here again. It just might be a 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely removing the range limitations on Cypher straps and camera and everything made it so he can lurk and so he can do whatever he wants on the map. And specifically in defense, you can set up a trap in one side, set up a trap and play in the other, because you don't always need to place both of your traps in the side you're playing. Most of the time, yes, it is the better idea, so you can have maximum defense when you're doing that, but we've seen players get creative with that a lot. I think Killjoy also has her nano swarms, which are not just, which I agree with, by the way, they're very good for entry, but impulse plans, remember that this is Haven. Remember that this map has been out there for longer than almost any other map. It's one of the default maps released with the game. We know how lineups work in this map. We know how dominant these Killjoy nano swarms are, specifically if they are not broken on the moment they're thrown, because they buy you like maybe 5 or 6 seconds in activation. So putting nano swarms when the team has already planted the spike makes it way harder for people to defuse the spike. So she's kind of limited by one thing, her ultimate being very expensive. And the second thing is range limitations. Who doesn't have range limitations on his UL anymore? Cypher. So that agent definitely does wonders when it comes to having him on attacking side.
And I feel like one of the things we don't talk about as much is that Cypher's ultimate is still one of the very few ultimates in the game that gives you real information. You get real-time info on where all potentially four members are. And that is so good that, like, in other games, you would see that basically being a major conditional. But the conditional, of course, is still a kill. A very valuable ultimate for sure, but FUT starting on the back foot here on the defense. Giving over some space over to the side of Giants. West side trying to capitalize on that. We've seen him do wonders on Yoru, and he's gonna do it here again. A double opener on the B side. All the attention averted to there. Crystali, he might find a multi-kill himself. He spots 3, but he's only good for a solo kill. That leaves Fallen and Zeus trying to clutch a 2-on-4.
Yeah, again, a beautiful start to kick off the round here. And I genuinely believe that GX need that momentum boost, and they need to have as many victories as they have. I find it a bit strange again that FUT gave them a free attacking side, but we just saw Vitality win off that. So it's not that much of a risk. Sheriff here, not going to be enough for Zeus because Grubs is going to be leaning on with Ara's rush on that Neon. And I genuinely believe already that Ara's Neon is better than his Waylay, so I'm a little bit more positive, let's say. For the west side, Ara again double dueling, but this time with Ara on the Neon instead of the Waylay. And historically speaking, Giant X has had a 57% win rate, if I wasn't mistaken, on Haven. When measured over recorded official matches with their 2025 roster of Ara, Flakeless, and Grubs, one of their better relative map results are Haven. So, I think that this is gonna be one of their best maps, but they also lost that map against them in 2025, 13-6 for FUT. So essentially speaking, both teams have very good results on this map, so it's hard to anticipate who's going to be winning that one off.
The good thing about Aura is that, as he said, you know, like, he's comfortable with a couple of duelists. I feel like he's really comfortable with the Neon. He's really kind of made a name for himself, especially on the Jet and the Raze. Those were his 2 mains coming up into Tier 1. Right now, Garbinio coming up into short. Might be getting caught by surprise. Numbers are a problem. Mr. Fallen. A position where at least he can get 1 for free. It's all about Crystali and how much of a distraction he can be. Zeus with the 1, but it's a sole kill that they'll get on that side. It's a clean entry with a pair there from Flickless, and that will make no errors happening for the side of GX. And this time Sierra left in another 1-on-4, which, I mean, it's not that bad, right? Like, it's 2 Bulldogs, it's a Marshall. The third round is not going to be the scariest of things in the world, and especially if VIT finds another kill, FUT wouldn't be too fussed about that result.
Yeah, VIT doesn't have really that much to do here in this round. We've seen 0 forces from Team FUT, only 2 kills, one of them was on Crystali and the other being on Zeus. I think VIT is not really in a position where he can clutch that, but tactical takeaways for this should be possibly how important opening rounds are for these both teams, because winning early and ensuring that your team has the better momentum is definitely one of the best things you want in any map. But specifically when it comes to Haven, you need to win early mid control in this. And duelists have to first kill on C-long or doors. You kind of have to decide who has the position early. You kind of have to decide who has the better map control early when it comes to round starts. And post-plan executions will always favor a better structured playstyle. So I think when rounds go late and rotate between sides, Giant X does have a disciplined utility. And they can outmaneuver maybe less coordinated defenses, which is one of FUT's biggest issues. Especially if you split them. It should be better for you if you're able to plant that spike and split FUT away.
I'm really surprised that we're not seeing any outlaws from the side of FUT. And clearly, as you can tell, 4 out of 5 with Light Shields, the outlaw would have been pretty much the Peace Law resistance for anyone that was playing it here on the side of the defense. And with how heavily touted it was in our first best of 3, this is a big switch up meta-wise, but as far as things are concerned for Crystali, that is an off angle that should net him a freebie. I say that. He's trading the 1 from Fickless, and he still finds a second on Garbinio. And then Fallen, still alive there, midway in the site, entrenched behind the smoke. They will try to clear him out, and he'll get a favorable timing, but just good as signal landing on the Romanian, but we'll still find yet another round. This is a statement from Giants, even on the bonus. Not really that bothered by the Turks.
Yeah, I find that spike positioning on the plant also very nice, because Yeto now has an uncompromised position. Expected a little bit from west side though, but lovely placement on the turret buys him a little bit more time. Rixus has now to make that push. Cloud now knows he has to make that trade. Yeto already took so much space, but now it's a 50-50 between both of them. If he's not on this side, he could be on the other. And it's now a matter of who has better rotations, and apparently Cloud has the better read on Yeto, getting GX to a third win in a row. Massively opening with a quick 3-0 for Team GX against FUT, which we said is going to be extremely crucial in this map and in this series because momentum plays a lot in their favor. And now you need 2 more points on Flickless. Possibly if we give him the plan that one, or if he can get a kill and an ult. You should have a ULF theft coming up next when FUT can have their next buy. So I'm predicting a 5-0 for GX if they win this round as well, which should not be hard.
4-0, yeah, I definitely agree. 5-0 though, I'm not so sure about that, and still yet to see if FUT will adapt. Giants is the team that brings out the good old outlaw, and it could be took over. 2 players posted here, not the easiest thing for an outlaw to find. The Sheriff is the one to find a shot to the head.
Ouch!
And then Rax add another one, and suddenly this round becomes within contention. The one weakness for FUT is that they have let the outlaw go away. They cannot recover the rifle in sight, but they definitely do have numbers, and they do have util. There's a Haunt, there's a Seize, there's a Powder, there's a Paranoia, there's even a Poison Orb for Rax that they can use all of it to retake.
Brilliant ball gets used, horrible timing here on Grub. Beautiful if you're cheering for FUT, however. Still has the high gear, and now the timing has to be better for Raxus because now you have one player that you can all just scatter on him, and what a beautifully orchestrated Thrifty round coming in here from FUT. Taking down GX's hopes and dreams, and it was already gone. Specifically, was losing which side. And who was it that died at the start of that as well? Was it Flickless? No, it was Grub, I think. But they lost 2 of their most important players when you're going into a site, and now we have Zeus on the operator. And GX's economy is obliterated by losing that round. You did not want to lose that.
Just funding Westside on A made the round a lot easier, because when you get that lobby control, the options dwindle for the other side, and especially the Rax, not only staying alive, not only keeping all the showers, but getting a kill on top of that. It made the game a lot easier. Operator out for Zeus already. And it's a return to the C side, except this time for GX, they find themselves really comfortable. They get their full kit. Shock Dart does its effect. West side with the ultimate should clear the side for his team. It is too strong. The Killjoy can play around for the util, but Rax needs to be careful not to get caught in the Under Fury.
Delay that a little bit, but it's a beautiful pick coming in here from Cloud, taking down Rexus. You just took one of their controllers, and then you took the Sentinel. Very good picks here by the Hunter's Fury. Extremely good call on him. Most players would just rather use the Hunter's Fury for post-plant to guarantee that when you plant the spike, they have no chances of diffusing it. But a beautiful pick from Lexus again. And I think Zeus is not going to be even able to save that operator because Ara says no. Chases him down with the overdrive, takes him down, and it's a beautiful, flawless round coming from GX. Discipline shows up a lot in the map that we're comfortable on when it comes to Haven. In Bind, most of this was absent. But going into Haven, GX has been performing absolutely massively nice with their util usage and comms. I think it there.
It's such a good ultimate from Westside. They just find the value behind it, and the surprising part here for FUT is that just like the few rounds that they've lost, the operator didn't find value. They were a lot heavier on the A side than they were supposed to be. This time, Cristali finds a success, and the overdrive finds a lot of damage onto Aura. But it's still going to be alive on the back of it. Still, man advantage for FUT is exactly the way that you want to start off a round like this, and with the Neon being the one that is as low as she is, makes the entries a lot more complicated. Now, you might just have to give Westside a rifle. You just might have to be a part of the entry pack.
I need to know what's happening here when it comes to GX's entry. You just lost Cloud. Just not a player you want to lose that early into the game. Losing your single initiator. No more info gathering on that team at all. Paranoia coming in from Grubs could be the wake-up call for him. That's a beautiful hunt as well. Ara has to rush, but he's only on 11 HP. One shot can take him down, but at least he takes a cross alley with him before he dies. Shoots that Euroclone, gets another flash from the side, but it doesn't matter because Zeus has inhuman reactions on these flashes. And a beautiful aim with takes him down to win this one. He got flashed by the clone, he got flashed by the paranoia, he got flashed by one more time by the Euro, but still reacted perfectly to all of those. And I could swear if I was West Side that Zeus should have been flashed, but nope. He had not been flashed in any other shots.
That is a really competent affair from the side of FUT there on the hold. Of course, that opening blow made things so much easier for them. And I gotta say, quick recovery by Zeus, and if Westside was on a rifle, maybe this would have been a very different round. Now FUT 2-4. Wouldn't be too fussed about the result if they're able to find one more in the defense. I mean, 3-4 is pretty good. It's an attacking side of the map, and right now the attack proving that they got the metal. The shakedown FUT, that was overly aggressive, and they're punished for it initially. Fallen finds the initial kill, back on the operator, finding seconds, dipping in for more, and they'll be dipped back out. There's another kill for Cloud, keeping the favor in advantage. What was that from Fallen?
Okay.
That was ballsy, and it pays off.
Sometimes you're gonna need to do plays like this in order to win, and from the shadows as well, teleports him back behind Flickless, and only Fallen can do such plays on his Omen. But now it's a 2v1 with Grubs holding the site. What can he do about it? He smoked off one angle. He knows that Fallen's operator could be coming for him. Picks up the shorty. So many corners to check for him right now, but he still has one more. On his TPs, basically knocks down Fallen. But now his position is compromised, and Raxus, he knows that Grub has 50 HP. He can aim for the body, but it doesn't matter because that one Chara will end it. And FUT now on back-to-back wins to put him on track. Might as well save Fallen's off because that did a lot of damage to GX's roster. You have to.
What the hell was that, though? What the hell was that from Fallen? Who goes for a peak like this? He got everyone out of left field. The first two shots is something. They were great. They were the reason that they had a chance. But he just decided that he's gonna take the entire round in his own hands, and really no two ways about the approach to this one. Just that shot right there. How's no one watching? Where's the smoke? The shots didn't come in for the kill. And then the nerves of steel, an ice cold killer to go for a round like this. And GX now on the precipice of being economically broke. A win here puts FUT in a driver's seat from going 1-4 down to most likely winning the entire game if they're able to take the hold. The fake out is good, but yet today is even better. Rax with one more. Two players off the plat, and it's a massacre in the C site. FUT basically being the ultimate defense. It is an insurmountable defense. This Nexus will not be broken. It's a tie game with a flawless from FUT.
Not really sure how could you be winning 3 rounds back-to-back and then have the game stolen from you like that. FUT, he definitely woke up. A flawless round as well. Might be due for a timeout right now from GX's side. We've seen how good these timeouts have been proven worthy when it came down to bind. So perhaps you want to take some time to breathe, because this is a very important round. They have 2 ultimates on them. They have the lockdown on ERJ. They have the Viper Spit on Q-Raxes, which are 2 of the most and strongest util tools when it comes to defending sites, specifically in a map like Haven. I would be on GX's side right now if anybody had artillery other than Cloud. But you got Sheriffs, you got no shields, you got Classics. It should be an easy round for Footballist unless GX surprises. And a quick entry for B-side is not going to be it because they already have the Killjoy's util fully on that side, so Ara's going to find himself surrounded by so much util. The point he says with him.
I mean, they set up the site though, and that's the important thing, right? Damage is one thing, but those Stingers at close range, they are demoralizing if they're successful. They try to extend onto Yetege. He holds on for one, and the rifle picked up without a recovery. Rax just had to watch, and now the Neon tries to pay back the favor, but the IGL stuck on the site. They try to go for the hunt. An important kill from Rax too, trying to take the push, and is Fallen to hold it down in a one-on-one. Grabinho with the Stinger will not find the bite, and Fallen keeps FUT afloat 4 rounds in a row. to now make it 5 from the back of his Thrifty. They are unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm loving these falling paranoias. I'm loving the smokes on site. I'm loving how good that B side was set to a permanent lockdown. Not the ultimate, but an actual one. But the amount of utility fired up by Yetterjays here, I think it's kind of a little bit hard to deal with B side. Because they have so much util on it. The young star Yetterjay is currently outperforming the veterans with an average of 272 ACS. Wow, he's the highest rated player for FUT for the month of February. Lovely note, thank you, production. I think Yetterjay has proven to us why these stats exist in the first place. Rex is now firing up Fiber Spit in a short. Doesn't even want to take any risks this round because he knows that Cloud has his ultimate again. And the last time we've seen Cloud with an ultimate, you know how this story went on.
Yeah, it wasn't that funny. Of course, that February involves their game against KC, where as good as Yetterjay tried, they couldn't overcome Levin and Blossom that day. And right now, they're trying to overcome GX. But the attack's still solid. Last time around, they got into a B site, no contest. This time around, while the flash is good, even better from Zeus, but the kills coming in from Cloud and West Side. The ultimate finding the value, not only the kill, but also the lockdown being destroyed. This is so valuable from Giants. And while Fallen still got Link, they're so wary of potential of a rotation. That double push from Spawn will need to expand on the side, but as long as Flickless is holding that angle in Garage, they're gonna keep something in the back of their head, and that seed of hesitation could lose in the retake.
You know, this corner is not gonna be really covered in for Crystalli. So Westside can just get one by one, and again, like dominoes, they fall. Raxus goes down, Fallen falls down, and Westside remains untouched in that site with a Light Shield, a Vandal, and a Dream. For his team, definitely outperforming himself and Bind completely, and we have never seen Westside more beautiful than this in Haven. I think in Bind, he also had a few remarkable rounds, but he definitely woke up way more than he should have.
Yeah, it's great that Westside has been able to adapt. You know, a lot of teams were thinking, hey, what are they gonna do in this meta? Because GX was one of those teams that usually play always a dedicated Sentinel. Maybe even they play like a Sentinel and then Westside on something else, but it's definitely a different look here for Giants. You just think about a player like Westside, as I said, and like his agent pool was completely different. Now, on the Yoru, for some reason, it just feels like home. Remember, he played what I think in EMEA. He played the Sage, he played the Viper, he played the Chamber, he played the Killjoy. Even like they even tried to flirt with the Vito once. Of course, that was here in Clash, and I mean, hey, if it works, it works. But I feel like for Giants, they've got some legitimate wins, like the 2-0 against Heretics. I feel like that was a really legit game. Sure, it was a bit of a grind, but that is always how GX win their rounds. Right here, though, the grind not really paying off because 5 rounds on defense, that is already a win in of itself. If FUT wins once more, then GX are put in a bad position. The good thing for the attack of Giants is that there are 3 ultimates, 2 of which are game-changing, and that's why they're choosing the C side, because it's the easiest for the Neon to explode on.
I think they're running out of util here, though. Speaking about FUT, because GX had 3 ultimates. One of them goes down now. Westside is able to get them as much info as they want on C side. Getting unironically body blocked here by QX's. Relay bolt used, of course, it was very easy for Ara to land it because Westside gave him all the information he needs for that, but he did not spot Yetterjay. However, not needed because Ara with the overdrive is able to take him down. And now we have one person that has an operator. Flickless is also coming from behind in order to take him down, and that was beautiful from GX. So much value from that dimensional draft on the Euro. Just so much value.
That, like, they capitalize upon it from all angles, right? The attack from C-Long, the lurk coming in from Flickless on the Cypher. All the pieces moved in unison. That was a beauty of a shot from Zeus, but there's a real problem in that they got the money. They know it's round 12 up next. They don't really care if they lose all 5. It's taking the op away. It's a win in of itself, and they're trying to pressure on a player at long. Looking at the window, probably will not catch Zeus from the angle that he's in. And he's safe for the time being. It's all about that peak. Westside on one side, Flickless on the other, catching him, lurking. And as the op gone, while FUT still can't afford to purchase That means that there will... Actually, no. Can they afford a purchase? Doesn't seem likely. It's going to be Bulldogs and Spectres.
Again, looking at this round from the start, it seems like they know exactly where FUT was stationary. Because the dimensional drift from the Euro gives so much info. The flashes were on point. And it doesn't just give them information, but it tells them exactly where to use their relay bolts. It tells them exactly where the util is being pushed by Team FUT. And this is why Euro's dimensional drift definitely needed another nerf. So the ultimate points being bumped up, increased a little bit, makes total sense. Now Fallen, I do not want you to be the first person to fall here for Team FUT. So why don't we back up a little bit? Because these paranoias have proven wonders for us, and you're a player that has definitely clutched a lot of rounds for Team FUT. However, it's safe to announce that Zeus still has his overdrive. Crosstelli still has 1 point away from his Nightfall. And the only ultimate that GX has right now is from the Shadows on the Omen. And they have nothing coming up close for them except maybe the Neural Theft. So, util-wise, FUT has an advantage, but weapons-wise, GX should be winning that one.
Well, weapons-wise is one thing. They planted 4B. 4 strong on the side, 2 towards A lane, 2 playing the crossfire for C, and Crosstelli got the ultimate to burn it all down. Yetege said that he's the young prodigy, supposed to be the one to save the team. They can spot them coming from C lane. The elevation from Gravino, that could be the difference maker. They have not cleared the site yet. Gravino not here in the TP, and Mr. Fallen almost being the hero. Couldn't find a multi-kill, yet it's Rax and Zeus to leave only West Side. Found a quad kill before, now identified on the angle. The flash is great for the start, but Rax is taking the landing, and FUT somehow, from being down and out on the defense, wrestle and grapple their way. They bring GX down to the ground, and they tie the game with them.
Yeah, kicking off to this game with a 4-1 was not the best you could hope for if you're FUT. And it was massively a nice run for them to come back, and this is what mental really does to your team. If you know that you can come back in these rounds, if you have your shots lined up, and if you have someone like Fallen and Zeus always saving your teams in rounds where they probably should have not been winning, I think utility is such an important thing in this game. Yeah, so despite the fact that you have lots and lots of weapon advantage on your team still, I called it 3 ultimates ready. On FUT's hand definitely made it way easier to be able to reclaim the side despite the fact that they lost it with 0 casualties on GX's side. And again, no one is better than FUT when it comes to using utils for a good old retake. So weapons do not make that much of an advantage as long as you know how to use util correctly, because retaking B site should have seemed like an impossible mission, but they still had everyone alive and they had 3 ultimates. Maybe a 4th one was coming up pretty well as well. So retaking that side, taking us to a 6-6 on the first half, definitely way closer than the 8-4 we've seen on Bind as a 2-round stiff. But again, back to the same old point. Pistol rounds are gonna decide so much after this side swap. Whoever wins them has a significant advantage to their team in the next half.
And I mean, with a tie game, even if they lose the pistol, I mean, the attack should still be heavily favored anyways. But what we've seen from Aura here and Westside is individual excellence, and if Westside picks up the AWP on the defense, it could be a problem, because outside of that one big round from Mr. Fallen, we haven't seen a sniper do much of that work. GX won the first pistol, got the bonus on the back of it, and if they repeat the same thing here, they might be leading the game into safety. Aura trying to lead the charge, and Neon identifying the initial point of contact, but GX are not letting go. They still want to re-aggress towards B anyway.
Beautiful pick here from Raxes. Takes down West Side, which should have been not the case. West Side have focused. Aura trades him again here with Crosstelli. Relay bolt already used. You still have yours though, Zeus, if you're able to go back. But Gravino says no. They do know that the spike is still on B window. And we've used almost all of our util as FUT. But gunfights are definitely still in our favor. Grub is now in a 1v3 already. Compromised his position by Fallen. Takes him down. And the first best of rounds heads straight up to FUT. Definitely something that gets you in a lot of advantage going into the second half of this map, which is clearly attacker-sided. I think FUT are off to a very good start in Haven. Especially after what happened to them in the first half. You had to make a change and a comeback after the switch. Kicking off with pistol rounds. Maybe GX has to pull off something crazy here. They have to force somehow. Giving him 2 pistol rounds is
I mean, an outlaw, right? Like, that's what we've seen in the map prior. The outlaw's so valuable in a round like this, but heavy shields and all the members of FUT, nobody really backing up the shot. If anything, it's the Marshall in the hand of Zeus that is the sole sniper. And again, not the biggest fan of Marshalls in those round 2s. I feel like the outlaw just much more useful. It carries effectiveness into the 3rd round a lot more than the Marshall. Sure, you can say, oh, but it's only like 100 and 140, and it's not going to kill anyone with a heavy shield anyways. But it's about more than that. Like, 1 means that even a classic, a Stinger spraying, a Spectre is going to find the kill. 100 means that the Spectre still needs to find more than a single shot to find the kill behind it. So that's the thing that can make the Outlaw so useful. Right now, though, for GX, they're a lot weaker on firepower, but the stack is heavy towards the A site. It's 4 strong, but eventually they'll break it apart, leaving only 2 in this A site. Flickless, still present. And a classic at this kind of a right click is a death sentence to any peekers. They actually full rotate into C Morgan. The A side is completely clear. Zeus is gonna relay the information. Oh, that was such a good round for GX on the start, but they just took the bluff. Yeah, they got called and...
Hold on. I think Fallen saw at least 3 people when he peeked that one at least. Yeah, so he knows that they kind of ate the bait. And now they're rotating shift walking 4 of them. To A side, FUT is definitely gonna be planting easily here because it took them way too much time to rotate with shift. I'm all in for taking a 50-50 specifically in a round where you have not bought a single weapon or a single util tool. Except maybe for the shock darts on Cloud's side, but rotating very slow like that has not been the answer, GX. It should have been faster on the rotations, and I think FUT's bluff here was played extremely well. Excuse me, I was not familiar with your game, hey, tell him. A Marshall coming in for Zeus, seemingly an operator in his hand though, because nobody has shields. And they're just planning for exit frags or for a full-on entry to the side because they want to ensure maximum credits. So there are not going to be any retake attempts. And FUT takes that round and leaves. And this is where brain wins over muscle. We just played it really smart.
Yeah, all dying to the spike, making sure that they get the maximum of the lost credits, of course. And that leads them into a purchase. And again, like, I still think that, like, looking at that round, if it was an outlaw on a Marshall, you would have carried into this round. Now we see Zeus tossing that Marshall away. Still Bulldogs, 2 SMGs, and a bucket. And that signals a round that should most likely end up towards that B side. This is where those guns thrive the most. But I wouldn't be surprised if FUT still contests lobby just to deny some information from the other side. And instead it's Giants to do that themselves. 3 players spraying down. And that just signals a sprint towards the B side here. FUT trying to get themselves in. Cypher Trip is not going to be a problem. Westside himself could be. But he doesn't find a chance to kill. Is Zeus at low health, but a 5-on-5 and a retake regardless.
As a performance came from FUT in these past few rounds, and now followed by another round where they're able to execute a very quick plan, but can they keep the bomb ticking? Here's the question. Ara trades himself for Crystali. Gets off a lot of damage on Yutashe as well, and this is a team with no healers, so you have to play the rest of the round with 10 HP on Zeus and 33 on Yutashe, but it doesn't matter because Q-Axis takes down Griminu. You now have no smokes, and you now have no head west side because Fallen just boomed it out of existence. And it's a 2v3. The best hope you have here is the Cyber Cage that helps you a little bit with the defuse maybe. Poison O for the Viper so they can keep pushing on it. Snake's Bite. Nano Swarms are all up and they still have a lot of weapons. And again, this comp is a menace to try and defuse against. It's such a menace to try and defuse against this comp.
Especially when you don't need to use the util to take a site. That's when exactly what you're talking about happens, right? Like the Nano Swarms, the Snake Bite, the Poison Orb, all of them can layer on top of each other. And mind you, they broke the 2 Nano Swarms in that round. Imagine if they weren't even broken. That's even more time for FUT in the post. But I think that GX wouldn't really let things happen. At least not in this round, but in the one after. It's a hero rifle from Cloud. A triple stack on the B side. They're gonna push through mid, hoping that Cloud can hold down the line from lobby. Peeking past that initial util, but respecting the smoke initially, and now they pivot back into the A side. 3 strong for Giants. And if I'm FUT, I'm definitely still playing that exact kind of game. I'm making sure that I cross all my bases, I don't give away any space, if you don't remember that, Morgan, like the games of KC and Navi, they had a ton of gaps on their defenses. At least like on their flank watch when they're playing attack. I'm saying defenses, but that's the defense of the attack basically. Right here, it's a lot easier. First of all, you got the Killjoy. Second of all, you're playing the default, so you get space on both A and C main. And if they got a kill here, that would have been the round. Now without it, they might just pivot back to C anyways.
Yeah, you still have Fallen over there. They did not take down that one tripwire that is guarding it. Flickless senses something is up. Because all that action, all smoke, no fire. Definitely says a lot about their entries, but Yitaje is able to take down West Side. And you still have Cross Tolly's Haunt on the side. Should be able to spot Flickless pretty quickly, so they know that he's playing on the tripwires. They know now he's playing from backside. Decides to push that smoke. If he's able to get at least one pick, it could be worth it, but no. Cross Tally denies his chances at giving his team more information. 15 seconds on a bomb. But now it gets planted, and you have 45 seconds to try and do anything. But with a Sheriff, a Classic, and a Phantom, one Paranoia, one Wreck and Bolt is up for GX's team. I think having Grubinho and Ara try something here together could be the way, and maybe look for exit frags, but Cloud has to save his
Can I ask something, though? Can I ask something, speaking of the Classics?
Go ahead.
Like, I get GX, right? GX, like, their logo is blue, their Classic is blue. What is the FUT Classic supposed to be? Like, it's purple. But why are you purple? Like, I don't get it, right?
Oh, I have
Anywho, like, me and my aesthetic crayons aside, the exits might come in. They do indeed trade the one, but solely Grabinho will find the sole casualty of FUT to get to keep the other 4. Nearly a flawless round, double digits. They need 3 more. And this might be the penultimate gun round here from GX. They don't even have ultimates. The closest they have is 3 away from the overdrive and 2 away from the shadows, which at least Ara's ultimate is useful. Gravini doesn't really add that much. You contrast that to the other side, they're only 1 away from the Nightfall, which I feel like should 100% be the strategy here. Find a way to get Crostati the orb, and then their execute becomes a lot simpler when you're playing.
Not fully sure what happens here for GX, but you have to win that round one way or another, mate. 2 points away from the Shadows, and 1 point on Cross Tally from the Nightfall, which is essentially one of the strongest util tools in Haven. Again, you can cover up an entire site. But that one waited too long to try and hit whoever is coming out from that smoky west side. ULF was the cause for it. And also you donated an operator for them, which is not a good idea. Ara takes down Rexes, but now it's down to a 3v2 because he took down Zeus as well. Fast lane gives him more time to rotate. And the Swarm goes in, but now they have the spike in their hands. Fallen sadly doesn't have his ultimate to try and steal that spike. So I think it might be a little bit doomed. You have no initiators, you have no smokes yet. Never mind, it just pops back up in position for Fallen. And I've seen what this guy can do with his operator shots, but not when he's on 16 HP and on a 1v3 situation and has to plant the spike. Cherry on top of the cake. Misses one shot, now they know exactly where he is, so seems like GX took the win, all thanks to Ara.
Right now, it's solid play. Aura, the Terminator, already found a pair. Now can find a little bit more. Might need to find a little bit more. It's Aura indeed on the hat trick. And that leaves Yataje now with no time to play for. The spike down on the ground. And pretty much the round all but over. I mean, he wants to try it, but
he wins.
I don't think he's going to get more than damage. He doesn't even get the first.
Doesn't win those.
Flickless. Stick in the landing. GX now only 3 away from tying up the game.
Yeah, Ara saved that round. You have to admit that his positioning on A side was extremely good. And the fact that he took 2 people, rotated back with fast lane, taking down Fallen's operator as well in the end with that lovely high gear dash in to A side. And again, Qraxis has done his best. I still
What is that though from Ara? My god.
That the read was extremely smart, and that's what I'm about to say. Like, reading the A short push. I'm not sure whether he saw him going into it, or was that pure game sense, because I've seen that it was smoked before that.
I think it's just a pre-fire, right? Like, that's one of the most expected position that you would usually spray down the player through, but speaking of expected, well, FUT expected this round to go their way. Now, trying again inside the utility, they go. Cloud holding on strong, and still somehow Fallen!
How did Fallen get here?
Through? This man might be Houdini. How he appears absolutely out of nowhere, but that's a spike! Thankfully, Fallen saves it. Oh, this is a massive round.
When?
It is a fight in the dirt, but the mud clears off FUT. And now it's Westside up against the world to save his team. GX broken economically. And Westside might just be thinking about saving that operator for the next round.
How? When? We can see all 10 players on our map, and I promise you, I was even more surprised that GX that Fallen has already been backside. Like, when did he do it? I cannot blame him for not expecting him here, but perhaps the only reasonable explanation that he used his Shrouded Step to TP backside, I guess, because this guy really, really loves it when people can't hear him. And he has that on his paranoia. But you know what he also has? A full-on 5 def opponents from Costelli's ultimate. So I think the Shrouded Step just came at a very good timing. But I promise you, I can see all 10 players on my screen. And I was still as surprised as Team GX that Mr. Fallen had already been back B-side by the time the spike has been taken. But I was like, what? When did he get here again? I want to see the replay for that. That was just... I thought he used his ulti. But he still has it.
I don't understand. Yeah, he didn't use his ult. He TP'd twice, I think. I think he paranoid and TP'd. And they just didn't notice it. I mean, that has to be it, right? Of course, we haven't seen the replay yet.
There it is.
That is my expectation. We're gonna get to it eventually. But yeah, like Mr. Fallen, look, he's been doing that a few times anyways in the series. And credit where credit is due to Pipson and Giants. They have definitely been trying to speed up their play a little bit. They've been trying to utilize Aura and him having a good game, but those floods from both ends, right? Both on the attacks and just absolutely demolishing the site, or even on the defense, they've just been so much better from FUT. And outside of heroic plays, Giants feels like they are down in the dirt.
I have no clue how he did that. But I think this was the round. Because Cloud has been... Oh, so he TP'd inside the poison orb and then he TP'd to backside. Okay, man. I definitely needed a replay to see that. Now, I bet that GX could not see that one coming in a million years. Now, I do not like how the economy looks like for GX. I do not like how the util looks like for GX. But they've won rounds with less resources. Exactly.
Well, I mean, they're making it look a lot more lively. Gravino found the double, but it's a double trade from Costali. Middle is still a problem for FUT. They try to send the ultimate up, but look at how far forward Flickless is. A rifle in the hand, and we've seen Fallen be the silent murder. Now we'll see if the Cypher is going to repeat the same fate. Tries to go for the peak. Spotted by the head. Crystali being the hero. And this might be game over. It's a rotation back into the C side. West side, I think he spotted Mr. Fallen. And while the Omen got the TP, he's trying to bite for his timing. And now Cloud, looking at the angle, tricks to the trade, and Mr. Fallen plays them for fools. It's West side now. Well, he looks to the west. And he realized that he has got no friends. He has got no support. This just might have to be match point. Westside is going to give it his all. But time is stick too far. I think beyond any repair for the defense.
I'm sorry, Westside, but you have to reach out for Eastside right now because the spike is on the other side of the map. Crystalli is on 12 HP. They're expecting that he might be faking this. A peek goes in, but wait, does he just stick it? He just sticks it! And he picks it like that. What? No one is gonna check on the spike? Is it feeling okay? Has it been lonely? They thought he might be faking it, but... What?
I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. He thought that it had to be a fake.
I've seen
He definitely thought that it had to be a fake.
This cannot go unpunished. What? There was not even a smoke or a flash before it, but like...
Oh,
just
man,
like that.
Crystali.
Welcome to VALORANT EMEA
Crystali done
Clash.
so well. Yeah. Crystali done so well for this round to end like this, but at the end of the day, that is how it's gonna go. Rabinho repeating the same thing. This time got a reveal. How does he keep getting away with this? Giants have just summoned their inner demons and they're bringing the fight into FUT. But they're not scared of them one bit whatsoever. Crystali again. This man might be the ultimate Avenger. And he's got the spike on his back. Needs to be safe from the player that is back at long. So they plant for Link. It's a 3-on-1. Gravino got the spot. Now information relayed. And while Crystalli is low, still got the Nightfall. Oh, this should be match point by any metric. But we've just seen an absolute daylight robbery. And right now, in the light of day, he tries to go peeking. Gravino not gonna be as fortunate as his mate. It is match point FUT. Putting GX on the line. There's still a lower bracket. But that would be a demoralizing defeat.
Yeah, you've made them really, really angry in that one play, I think. You made them really, really, really angry with that one play, I think. Because I think the best way to put it was, as he said it was daylight robbery. The spike is open in sight. He's able to take it down. GX right now have exactly what FUT had in the first half when they clutched that round. They had 4 ultimates, but they didn't have enough weapons. Now it's the same thing for GX. Everybody has their ulti except Ara. But he has a Bucky. And Cloud is expecting a full push from C-side, so he's able to put in some damage on the roster. But only hits Crystalli with 1 shot. And that is not the value you would want from a Hunter's Fury coming in now from the Sova. But hey, a util is a util. That's 1 ultimate down, 3 more to deal with for Team FUT.
Well, right now FUT could put the finish to that one. He's just about put in the final few strokes of ink on that book. But so many times after we've seen GX aggress from here, not as successful this time around. It's an overdrive that is met by a Sova that seems fearless. But in the end, fear is one thing. Lead is another, and Lead is merciless. But there is a chance for Westside to be the hero. FUT freeze, 40 seconds on the timer, and they need to make a call. A player in the window, a second on lobby. They're guided back into the C position, where Ara with his Bucky could easily get away with a freebie. The rotations might be too fast for them. The Yoru trying to find the angle. Sorry, the Neon is looking at the other side, but Zeus is the one to find the kill. And Flickless will be killless. And now it's all for Westside. Last time around, he tried to go save. He ended up stealing around with the defuse. And Lightning will not strike twice. Instead, it's Siete as ever. Strikes yet another time and FUT take down GX a notch. They might have been bottom 2 in kickoff, but in here, they are a finalist.
We've said it multiple times. Every single time FUT met GX, they were met with the same fate. FUT has never lost this showdown between both of them at least once. And again, GX had their lucky shot here for the redemption arc against Footballist, and maybe FUT should have been a little bit more worried in this game, because you do not just meet someone, win them 3 times, and expect to get away with it on your 4th chance as well. But this happened. FUT has not lost a single time against GX in 2 years now. I think it's safe to announce. And they still came out victorious on this series with a clean 2-0. So huge shout out to Team FUT for their amazing resilience and immense consistency on this series today. And Volt, I think that's it for us. Do you have anything else to say before we head back to our desk?
No, I'm really thankful. You know, this is it for us for Clash as a whole, and it has absolutely been a surprise. The upsets yesterday were out of this world. Today, I feel like we went back to the scheduled programming with the teams that should be the favorites. They got their wins, and both Alpha and Omega are in for cracking finals. But as he said, just to give this game its justice, we've seen twists and turns, but I think that Kim Kong and MP should have what it takes to take it over from the desk.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, Volden Morgan. This is it. FUT won against Giant once again. I think they found the recipe against this team.
Yeah, it seemed like it, at the beginning of that Haven, it seemed like Giant X were actually finding a lot of success with the double duelist composition, and to me it's fairly easier compared to that bind composition, because now they have Omen, another layer of breaking that smoke to enter to the site. You have 3 different agents that can dive to the site, but when the site switched, there was no chance for Giant X. FUT was just completely handling the business there. And Mr. Falling, I'm surprised that he was picking up the up. Round 7, just complete highlight, getting that round down single-handedly with that 4K.
I mean, it was basically a god in this series. I think Mr. Falling delivered both Bind and Haven. A good, well-rounded player that is both IGL and able to step up in so many games. I really think this was his day, definitely. Maybe tomorrow will be also, but yeah, I think a lot of the victory comes from Mr. Falling, at least in Haven. Because on by maybe Ye2J was also on point, but a bit more silent on this Haven.
Oh yeah, I feel like here Ye2J didn't have to do the heavy lifting. All of the FUT players were on top. Mr. Falling, obviously, right here on the picture. You can see, I'm just gonna let the clip speak to itself. This was incredible from him.
He had very good operator also.
Yes, incredible operator gameplay. 4K here, didn't quite get the ace, but it was still enough for the round win because you have Cracks on his side that is able to finish out that round. And from there, I think that was kind of the point where FUT started gaining some momentum in this map. That round 7, I think it was a 3rd round for them. Then they went on to win another 2 rounds. And when they switched sides to the attacking side, you know the Turkish firepower just let loose completely.
Actually, I was a bit mitigated when I saw the 6-6 because FUT had against KC, the last time they played Evan, they had the strong defense side and a weaker attack side. So here when it was 6-6 at the end of the first half, I was kind of worried that maybe Giantex could take this one, but the momentum building I think was too much already. We talked about it at the end of Bind that it would be difficult to come back into the game for Giantex, and I think they started to build up something in the beginning of Haven, but when they started losing rounds after rounds, it kind of slipped out of their hands. And when they lost the anti-bonus, I think it was the nail in the coffin, because after that they didn't get anything. They were trying some weird pushes in main, but for me this is more looking like a solo queue or maybe tier 2, but not it's something you're trying because you don't have any ideas. It doesn't look like a structured play when you're actually knowing and anticipating what the other team will do.
I mean, I think we talked about this in length previously in different broadcasts, that the Turkish teams, they are the best in this type of messy gameplay, in dueling. You cannot really go 1 versus 1 against these Turkish teams. Derke highlighted it against ULF. They shoot well. We already known this from 2021. We've known it time and time again, even on when seeing it was just popping off with the operator. These guys are the ones to be afraid of, and when you let them duel, like kind of Giantex did here, I mean, FUT was the one who was kind of guiding this game, so I think in terms of Giantex, or I don't think Giantex necessarily was giving FUT those duels, but FUT was making the game, so it was messy, it was hard to follow, because now you have that Neon that is running around, you have Mr. Falling just TPing behind you, making a lot of confident plays and finding multiple multi-kill rounds for them.
I think also one thing that is interesting to note is how good they were on attack and post plant, because most of these rounds were actually defending the spike. I think also that they were very strong at getting information around the map. There were a few rounds, especially at the beginning of the second half, with lower weapons, less weapons. They were actually really getting a lot of info on every side of the map, and at the end having all they needed to go into the right side, So for me this was a very strong point from FUT. I don't know, it's maybe because Giantex was a bit slower in the reaction time, but at least from my point of view it looked like FUT were really thorough in exploring and getting the information they needed to win the round.
Oh yeah, especially in the later stages of that game. I think the last few rounds, there was that 3 versus 3 situation where FUT was really good in covering sewers, then rotating out of that place, having one, I think it was Mr. Falling, then having him in heaven, to stay around there, listen for information, finding a lot of picks as well, just closing out that game. Sure, that round ended up being ninja defused, but still I think that was a great showing of how FUT can be very methodical as well.
I think this was maybe a laugh on the side of FUT because they were so good into the game. They will not look too much on it. In a very close game, this is the round you really, really regret, and I think that can put you on edge. But in this kind of setup, I think it was okay. But we have an interview for you with Mr. Fallin, so let's go.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Fallin. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope you're feeling great after this win. We're so happy to have you here with us. And my first question for you would be, as a Tier 1 team, what was your mindset coming into this tournament, EMEA Clash?
Like for everyone, like our kickoff season is not going well, and like for the whole partnership seasons in kickoffs we are not doing anything, but we always trying to like prove ourselves to be in Tier 1 every time. And this tournament is gonna show us like we are losing too much games before the years and beginning of the year, so it just give us courage to play in Tier 1 or Stage 1 again. So we're just trying new things, trying to adapt to each other, and we have to just like get the confidence for ourselves to winning games again.
Sounds amazing. I will kind of follow up on the same idea there. Most of the VCT teams have said exactly the same, that this tournament is great so they can test out new compositions in officials, but you have never been a stranger to switching up composition. I counted, and last year you played nearly 50 different comps. So I wonder what you see is the biggest upside for you in these off-season tournaments.
Like for the last year when the whole team is changed, and because like 2025 is not going for well, and we just change. Okay, probably meta is changing, so we have to adapt it, but we just don't know what is the meta, because we're gonna know if some of the people are just gonna take double this and rush everywhere, and we know there is someone like again fanatic teams like gonna hold slow run, maybe like coming in 10 seconds to the side, you know, and we couldn't adapt that at the off season. And we see that in kickoff. Okay, guys, like people are just running, you know, and we have to do something about that because we just didn't practice at all on the off season. But when the kickoff ends and EMEA Clash is here, then we said, okay, so maybe we can try double this too because it's time. And I think it's pretty okay for us right now, but we will see about it on the stage, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the double duelist is something that you've been running, and you're running Waylay in almost every map, maybe kind of shifting away from that in a bit in this tournament. Is it just personal preference of the players? Does it fit your IGL style well, or what is it that makes Waylay the agent to go for you?
I think it's a difficult situation because when Krax is not joining on the team, Zeus was playing the Valet, and he's playing Valet style, and Krax is playing Valet style, or especially Yetuje playing Valet style. Like two of them played and two of them playing differently, so it's kind of hard to answer this question. But we always try taking Valet because like it's much more easier character than the other ones, because you're just gonna dash, bubble, and it's gonna go back, and you're completely fine, and you just have to aim fight. And when you give that person, like for example, if Zeus can do that, but he's our main character, so if he dies, then who's gonna shoot, for example? And everyone is trying that, and we just said, okay, maybe we can just support Zeus with the character, and maybe he can just perform well, and I think it's working for us right now, and that's why we're picking Valet.
It works for you, so this is the most important thing. Last question for you, Mr. Falling. You've been on this team for a very long time now, and there's been a few changes in the start of the season, with Kurax leaving, then coming back, and bringing Crostally. How do you personally adapt as an IGL to these roster changes?
like when Crash gonna join the team and everyone just gonna know I have to play smokes and I'm not playing smokes in like, I don't know, maybe 1 year, I guess. And it's gonna hard for me to adapt it because like I was always playing initiative and I'm reading all the maps, checking the map, checking all utility, and I was the rotate guy. But right now when I'm smoking, I have to just sometimes bunker side smoke, I have to defend it, sometimes I have to just stay on the sides. And it's gonna make me nervous, you know. Like I have to just go and help my friends, but the other one had to do that, so it's kind of hard for me to adapt it. But I think it's going very well too. Like for my teammates, they're just helping me a lot for that, and I'm good for them. And like it's just doing good right now. I just have to like play a real smoke character, but I don't know. I like playing smoke, so I don't mind.
Well, you had an amazing omen today on the events. That's definitely true. So keep on with the good work of Mr. Fallin. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Thanks, congrats again for the win, and see you later. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Wow, yeah, Mr. Fallin obviously having to come back to smoker role here. I mean, in Haven, it seemed like he wasn't away from Smoker role that long. He was incredible. He was just dominating back and forth, finding picks with the operator, finding clips throughout this map. And I'm gonna be honest, he could probably build a highlight reel off of that map.
I think you can. Actually, we've seen some of the clips already in the highlights, so definitely it was an amazing match from him. It's interesting to see that it was actually a difficult change for him because, as I said, he's been on the team since 2022, so let's say for a very, very, very long time, long longevity for Mr. Fallin, and saying that this new roster, he had to adapt. It's kind of interesting because you would think that if a player has been here for so long, you're building the roster around him, and here actually is willing to make the change also.
Oh yeah, and it's lovely to hear that people are willing to make changes. Obviously, that's the best for the team. You kind of want to adapt what's happening around you, and if you bring in new players that maybe doesn't specifically hit to a certain role, then you might have to adapt back to the original role. And to Mr. Fallin, I mean, he's incredible, whether it's initiator role, whether it's controller. He's been, to me, he's been one of the better performance of this team in terms of consistency. I do think he is usually really consistent.
They actually got the ticket for the final, so let's take a look at the bracket. They will go against the winner of the Omega lower bracket final, so it will be either Giantex or Enterprise, and Vitality is on the other side and will face either ULF or UCAM Besiktas. The match is not finished yet because there has been 2 overtimes in the first 2 maps, so we will have to wait a little bit to have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna be really interesting to see what is gonna happen there. Really close matchup, like you said, overtimes after overtimes. But for the side of FUT, they're happy. They got the spot in the final, and now they're just waiting to see what is gonna be the other team that's gonna join them there. Team Vitality, we kind of highlighted them already. Previously, they got the other side of the spot for the grand finals. And the good thing for these teams is that they can see what is happening in the upcoming games. They can kind of prepare for this final up ahead. Giant X will face Enterprise. Whether it's actually Enterprise facing Giant X, I'm not quite sure. It could be either way, since Enterprise has been such a strong competitor here off on the other side, waiting to see which team is gonna face against them. But I'm gonna be honest, these are really interesting times because once again, VCT teams are in the danger of dropping out of this tournament.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be 2 amazing showdowns definitely, and maybe if Enterprise manage to beat Giantex, they can get the title Titan Slayer for the next season. So let's hope that they can make some fire in this matchup against Giantex. It's gonna be in 2 days because tomorrow we have a little break so that everyone can get a little bit of rest. But stay with us because we have one last thing before we close tonight, and it's obviously the second clash. So let's look at who won the last matchup.
Oh, Giants X. They couldn't quite close it out in the first clash here against FUT Esports, but they will advance against Na'Vi in the second clash. I mean, win is a win. It doesn't matter whether it's first class, second class. This one is for eternal glory. First class is for glory and money. So which one is
choose
better?
Your side.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, Giant X, I think it was a nice clutch from the team. So I think we have only very interesting plays left. We will see who advanced to the final in the next broadcast. I think this is it for us today. This is the end for the broadcast, but we will be back in 2 days, so mark that date on your calendar. Thank you so much, MP, for being with me on the desk. It was truly a pleasure to share the night with you. And thank you to everyone who is watching, because this tournament is absolutely incredible and the teams deserve some love. Is it for tonight, but be back 2 days from now, 7 p.m. CET like always. See you, everyone.
Nothing was meant to meet. Distance kept things apart. This is the moment where everything shifts. What are you afraid of?
At the world from the eye of the Horus. If you Alexander the Great, then I am the Porus. Coming straight from the mud like I am a Lotus. So हाथियों का बल कैसे सकेगा तू मुझे रोका? देख तू कैसे मैं लड़ूं, तुम लोगों से ऐसे ना डरूं. तरूं मैं जिससे मैं तरुण, पानी पे चलूं मैं जिससे मैं वरुण. चाहे मैं जीऊं या मरूं, जो करना चाहूं मैं वही तो करूं. आता है तू ना करीब, तू बेटी चीप, जब तक कटे ना तेरी ये जीप. Better believe you're gonna bleed. Pick up a seat, get your team. I'm the king of kings. Brother in arms in a battle. You all gonna die if you act like a vandal. Bring the realms to reality from every angle. This is the public service announcement from Mumbai to the rest of the world. I am a Raja. I am the Raja. भिड़ेगा तो उठेगा जनाजा ना. तू मेरी तरफ आना. आ गया तो होगा फिर तनाज़ाना. ये भारतीय भाषा फिर दुनिया सुनेगी ये तराना ना. 'Cause I am the Raja. 'Cause I am the Raja. I am the. 'Cause I am the Raja. Look in my eyes, what do you see? I'm more than average, man. I'm a maverick, I can grow flowers on a barren land. Break a mountain with my bare hands and step back and cause a literal avalanche. Should've been about traveling. अष्टभुजाएं मेरी जैसे मैं tarantula. ना है कोई तोड़ मेरा जब से पूर्वजों का ज्ञान मिला. मेरे जैसा मिलेगा कोई ना तू और चाहे जो भी था सबकी कबर मैंने खोदी. क्या तुम लगाओगे बोलियां कम पड़े गोलियां. चंद्रगुप्त ने मौर्य या दिला तू लोरियां. Come to me and you just gonna die. That's really a given. I am invincible and you are invisible. See, that's really a difference. Get out of my way, I'll leave the world. The choice is yours. I don't kill my enemies, I play with them. That's what the toys are for. From Mumbai to the rest of the world, I am the Raja. भिड़ेगा तो उठेगा जनाजा ना. तू मेरी तरफ आना. आ गया तो होगा फिर तनाज़ाना. ये भारतीय भाषा फिर दुनिया सुनेगी ये तराना ना. 'Cause I am the Raja. 'Cause I am
'Cause I am the Raja. Where you been? I'm back.